Hey everyone, how are y'all? Hey Crime Crazy. Stone Gator, how are you? Emerald Queen and Werewolf Queen, how are y'all? Hey Scott, how are you? Hey Miss Honey Penny. Hey Sandra, how are you? Hey Cheryl. Crime Crazy, did y'all make it back home okay? Hey SoCal Gal, how are you? Hey Musical. Okay, good, y'all made it home, alright. Yeah, Sandra, I'm feeling a little bit better. Hey Allegedly Annie, how are you? Still trying to get all my stuff pulled up here, y'all. Hey JB, how are you? Hey B. Hey Ara, how are you? Hey Mar. Mar, are you feeling any better? Renee Marie, how are you? Hey Brooklyn. Oh, you're not Mar? I'm sorry, honey. That's my voice. I tried to do love earlier and it was horrible. Oh, Aura, honey, you're gonna have to rest your voice in and drink maybe like some hot tea or take some, like a spoonful of honey. See if that helps you. Let's see. Urgent care virtual Monday. So, Mar, have they said what they're gonna do with it? Or if you don't wanna say, you can email me, but I remember you were talking about it the other day, um, what all was going on. Hey, one of the real ones, how are you? Little Miss Naughty, how are you? Oh, they didn't even look at it. Oh, wow. John B, how are you? Hey, Liza. Hey, Exit Screaming, how are you? And Liza, no, honey, you're not late. I hadn't even got started on anything really. Hey, Jim J. Mal, how are you? Hey, Simma. Just Ann, how are you? Okay. Hey, Philly, how are you? Hey, Vaughn. And Crime Crazy, have you talked to White Widow Baby today? Yes, I'll get it. Who's gonna sit back tonight? Mara, it was okay last night, honey. We knew it was an accident. Hey, GOP Nick, how are you? Billy, yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better. Still like super tired, but not as I don't feel as bad as I did. Okay, yeah, Crime Crazy, I haven't talked to her today either. Last thing I remember was a taco salad last night, and then that was it. Millennials, how are you? Okay, what's the story about Kim? She reminds me, see, of the lady that talked to Kylie Rodney, the dad, the daughter, Kylie. Yeah, millennial. She reminds me of her too. A lot of people even said that they thought it was her, but I don't think it is. Anita, how are you? And yes, I'm feeling a little bit better, thank you. Um, but anyway, millennials. A lot of people thought that it was her, but I don't think it is. I don't really know the story on Kim. Just that, she had kids that went to college up there, and I believe her daughter knew the girls, Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana. Hey, Izzy, how are you? And yes, ma'am, I'm feeling a little bit better, thank you. Hey, Marissa. You had taco salad yesterday? Let's look. White Widow Baby was showing off last night. She sent me a picture of it. Hey, Frank, how are you? I just made popcorn with butter. Now I'm gonna turn the lights off and enjoy the show. That's the best way to be, Frank, is in your PJs. Amy M, how are you? E- Amy, yeah, I mean, I don't know if I want to say that she. I don't think she's lying about everything. I think there may be some truth in it, but I'm wondering to what extent is she over exaggerating things? You know what I mean? Oh, Milo says hi to everyone. Jan, how are you? And I'm doing good, honey. Hey, the CNY family, how are you? See, long time no see. Just want to stop in, show support. You're one of my favorites. Keep it real. Thank you, honey. I appreciate the support. Hey, GMJ, yeah, he's been quiet for the last couple of nights. While I was sick, he was literally like my little bed partner. All right, so I wanted to ask y'all, in the thing that they had. Yes, Emma, you did. That was Milo that you heard. Um, in the list of stuff that they had received or found in the when they did the search at Bryan's apartment, and there was a thing on there. It was a Walmart receipt, and it had a Dickies tag with it. L'Oreal, how are you? So me and Troll got to looking today, and they do sell Dickies apparel at Hey American Princess, how are you? They do sell Dickies apparel at Walmart. Like you can get the shirts and the pants and uh they've got mask and all that there. but I'm trying to get this pulled up here so I can show y'all. But I was wondering though, because they never said, "Hey, 9mm, how are you?" They never said exactly what was on the receipt. But has anybody thought about Marissa, that's what I was about to show. Coveralls. Let me get them pulled up here. Give me just a second. I mean, you can get the long sleeve coveralls, covers the whole body, and then get out to your car and just unzip them and take them off and have clothes on under them. Yeah, I mean, you can get them in black. Hey, Psycho, how are you? I can't believe BK went home and laid in his blood with blood on him. He must have been exhausted. I mean, I know that there's some n- news people who are running with it. Hey, William, how are you? That are running with it that they found blood in his apartment during the search warrant, but they didn't say that they found blood. They said that they found reddish or brownish stains, which, yeah, could be blood. Um, Makes sense if it was blood, but that they didn't put it out that it was. But I mean, like I said, we were, yeah, Amy, that would be gross. But just the coveralls make sense, though. Jeanette, how are you? You wear clothes under them. He goes into the house. He did what he did. He can run out to the car, just slip them off and put them in a bag. Throw the knife and everything in a bag and then get rid of everything at once. Hold on, y'all. I gotta put my thing on live chat here because I can't see everybody's comments. Let's see. I do believe the red brown spot on the pillow and the mattress covers is blood from him from the scene, and he must have slept in it for 7 weeks. Either that, Jeanette, or those little brownish spots that they were claiming that they found on his mattress. It could have been bed bugs. Because, they say that bed bugs leaves like little blood spots all over your mattress, which is disgusting as well. Irene, how are you? Miss Z, how are you? And then the blood on the pillow, or well, the reddish brown stain on the pillow, the uncased pillow, that could have been it could have been the blood from the crime scene, or it could have been a nosebleed or him shaving and cut himself. Yeah, that is true, 9mm. It could have been from pimples or anything. I mean, it could have came back as his blood, and it could be from anything. I mean, I know people who gets bloody noses in the middle of the night, and it'll just all over their pillow. Ashley B, how are you? Let's see, too much of a neat freak to be bed bugs. I don't know, but do y'all think okay? Because like, I can see that he's OCD, but what about the stains on the pillow? See, have you heard how supposedly there was other people involved? Or Kim's kid. Yeah, is he that's what I've heard her say, what little bit I've heard her talk. "Hey, Debbie, how are you?" Um, that allegedly her daughter knew about it by 10 o'clock that morning, and, that Dylan seen 3 people outside the house. "Lawnmower Man, how are you?" And that one of the 3 people she seen was a creepy guy, and then the creepy guy that she seen ended up being the guy that was in the house. Irene, I'm doing alright. I see nosebleeds are common in winter due to dry. Yeah, I mean, so a nosebleed in the middle of the night, all over your pillow, I wouldn't think anything of it. Now, if it comes back and it's someone else's blood and not his, and it is in fact blood, then yeah, that's a little bit disgusting. Can't put a target on her kid. Yeah, did she ever say her kids' names? Because I didn't listen to everything that she said. Some people were saying last night that they heard her say her kids' names. If she did, she shouldn't have, because that, like someone said, that's putting a target on their back. And yeah, you can't be the cleanest person and have bed bugs, especially living in apartments. Just because your house is neat and clean and all that, there can be other people that can bring the bed bugs in, and they can go from apartment to apartment. Okay. So she did say, oh wow, see, she shouldn't have. She shouldn't have never said her kids' names. Hey Lori, how are you? And yeah, I remember Christy, Kaylee's mom, saying that her niece had ties to Moscow, and her niece is the one that called her and told her that something bad happened to Kaylee. Maybe he didn't want to exterminate the bed bugs because he's vegan. Yeah, but still though, like, if you don't get rid of the bed bugs, then they just go to everybody else's houses too. All right, so anyway, I just wanted to share or show the coveralls, like, you can get them in long sleeve. It would have made sense, if he would have wore the coveralls, especially, like, the flex kind because they're, easy to move in. I think somebody else in chat just a minute ago said that they wear them as well. And Lori, what doesn't make sense is if the word spread quickly that morning, why didn't anybody else who heard about the incident, why didn't they call police? That's what doesn't make sense. It's almost like everybody who, if that is true and where it did spread, that nobody, like, did, what was their reason for not calling? Okay, let's see. He was wearing a COVID mask, not a single report out there. She wore a ski mask. Psycho, did she ever say what type of mask it was? Did she say if it was like a COVID mask, or because all I've heard is just he had a mask on and that was it. Not if he had a hat on or a hoodie, or anything like that. Just that he had a mask and that she saw his bushy eyebrows. Okay. She said it was, yeah, just that it covered his nose and mask. But there are the masks that you can pull over your head. They're what are they called? A balaclava, I believe is what they're called. And you pull it down over your head. It covers your top of your head, mouth, nose, side of your face, everything. The only thing that shows is your eyes. And I'm sure it would have possibly showed his eyebrows. Pippi Longstocking, how are you? And yes, thank you. I am feeling a little bit better. 4 days after crimes. Yeah, and they whenever he went to his doctor's appointments, they were talking about how nice he was and all that. That is that's weird. You murder 4 people and you go home, you go on about your life, you go, "Hey, hocus pocus," you go back to work, you go back to school, celebrate your birthday and the holidays. I don't this dude is a very cold-hearted person. And Jeanette, yes, they actually do, uh, Oh, shit, I won't remember. White Widow Baby sent me a picture of one last night, but let me see if I can just, because I'm already on the Walmart website. I'm sure I can find it. Let's see, give me just one second. Tree Baby, how are you? See, just Ian, that's the only thing I've ever known to call him, was a ski mask. Alright, let's see here, hold on one second. I'm just gonna pull them up here. They actually have different styles of them. Get them pulled back up for y'all. Okay, I thought it yeah, Ashley B, there was a Marshall's receipt also. There was, the Walmart receipt, and it had a Dickies tag, I guess, with it. Um, I don't know if it might have been some clothing that he bought, and he took the tag off and saved it with the receipt. But then there also was it 1 Marshall's receipt or 2? Hold on, y'all, I gotta grab my phone so I can see. This is pulled up. Hey, Joanne, how are you? Okay. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting my thing pulled up where I can see it. Okay. All right. I'll have to pull the list back up here in a minute because I can't remember if it was 1 Walmart receipt and 2 Marshall's receipts or 2 Walmart receipts and 1 Marshall receipt. But I do know that the Walmart receipt had the Dickies tag with it. All right, but I mean, y'all can see like they have different type of mask. Okay, if you wore that and a mask, would Dylan get so scared the minute he call please? Wait. Millennials, I don't know. I would I would like to know that. Like, why wait? You know. And the thing is that the Walmart receipt that had the Dickies, um, so 1 Walmart, 2 Marshalls. Okay, thank you, Jeanette. Um, whatever was on those receipts from Walmart and Marshalls must have been something that had to do with what he wore because if there, I mean, why else would they take them? You know, and he could have very easily bought coveralls. He could have bought a Dickie shirt. He could have bought the mask. He could have bought pants. You know, anything like that. I mean, they have several different ones, and most of these, like, let me go up. Where was that one at? Okay, so like this one here, I mean, you can see the eyebrows in that. Often used in robberies and such, you can't see eyebrows. So, I mean, this one isn't a a Dickies one, but they do have these like that, made by Dickies. See, I was a kid in the 70s when I saw chairs wearing. Okay, sure. I don't know. No, Kim's really not making them sound good either. She's putting all this information. She's saying that police were lying about Dylan being on the second floor when she wasn't. She was actually on the first floor. All this and that. So I wonder if he bought an athletic material versus a cotton. It wouldn't leave fibers behind. Hey, Jersey, how are you? See, I saw pictures of his family wearing black masks that were just covering the nose and mouth and unless yeah, they were at his trial or at his court date, I'm sorry, in Pennsylvania. His mom, sister, and dad were there, and they all 3 had, uh, the COVID mask that just covers your mouth and nose. So, where's that? Okay, I'm just catching up real quick, y'all. See, the Kim person seems like someone who wants attention. Hey, Angel, how are you? See, Angel says she's afraid Kim is gonna mess things up. Yeah. I mean, I think that whatever she knows, she needs to go to law enforcement with, which she says that she has done. I don't know if it's helping getting on these different panels and saying all these different things. Angel, I'm doing good. Okay, hold on one second, y'all. All right. So, I mean, I don't she's claiming she's went to law enforcement or she called FBI. I don't know if they've paid any attention to her or not or, looked into what she's saying. I don't know if this is the only way that she thinks in her mind that she can get it out there, but she's telling a totally different story than what we've been told. Other than the fact that we were told in the very beginning that Dylan's room was on the first floor. And Kim is saying that that's where her room was, that they're lying about her being on the second floor. All right, I seen somebody just say something about a trap house. Hold on, I gotta go back and find it. Hmm. Lawnmower man, you're asking how did the receipt leak? They put the receipt, and I think I still have it on here, or I can just grab it and pull it up. But they had released the items that they had seized at Bryan's apartment during whenever they had uh, went out for the search warrant. And I do have it right here. I'll pull it up here real quick. And it just tells where the receipts were from, but it doesn't tell what was on the receipts. See, if it was credible, they would have told her to stay quiet. I just hope that she doesn't tell something that police, yeah, if telling something that's truthful that could help or that could hurt the case that maybe police don't want out. I just hope it doesn't come down to that. And she puts something else that police are trying to keep, especially if there is someone else that they're looking at. All right. So let's see. This was issued on 12/29/22. It was served on 12/30 of 2022. And then it says right here, the items that were seized. See, all seized from residents and currently stored at the WSU PD. And it just says the one nitrate type black glove, one Walmart receipt with Dickies tag, two Marshall's receipts, dust container from Bissell Power Force Vacuum, 8 possible hair strands, 1 fire stick, 1 fire TV stick with cord and plug, 1 possible animal hair strand, and then there's 4 possible hair strands. Hey, Yorkie Mama, how are you? I'm sure that they had to do number 8, number 9, number 10, and number 11. I'm sure they were picked up individually throughout his apartment, so they had to package them individually. Patty and Pink, how are you? They also got 1 computer tower, then they got 1 collection of dark red spots, collected without testing, and then 2 cuttings from an uncased pillow of reddish-brown stain. Larger stain was tested, and 2 top and bottom of mattress covers packaged separately, both labeled C with multiple stains, 1 tested. So that's where we're getting the receipts and stuff like that. I just wish that they would've put on there, what was on the receipts, but let's see, seems like the police cared a lot more. This department a lot more man, someone else said that there was a lot of brown paper bags that had evidence in them, but they have to list everything that they take out, like, because there was a list of stuff that they had in the search warrant that they wanted them to look for. Everything that they take out of the house, they have to list. I'm wondering if there's another page to this. And I can't remember if I wanna say White Widow Baby is the one that sent this to me, I can't remember. And it doesn't say if there's I'll have to go back through it. I still haven't got all the way through the search warrant yet. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, and then someone just sent me a message and asked about why they didn't list what came out of his office. Apparently, they didn't find anything in his office. Excuse me. Let's see. Hey, banker guy, how are you? And yes, Patty and Peak, I'm doing good, thank you, honey. Let's see. Judge Jody's prosecution. Okay. So I'm wondering if there's more pages to this and they just kept what else that they brought out because it did seem like, I mean, they were in his apartment for a while. Seems like they brought out more than that. I don't know if I believe that they didn't find anything in his office either. There was some wait, there was some guy saying he was wait, Jeanette, that Bryan was? Cheryl, honey, you have a good night. Okay. Alright, so let me get back into my email real quick. Yeah, they're just dropping Lori, yeah, I don't think they're giving us everything, honestly. Oh my god, I don't know how my thing keeps getting on top chat instead of live chat. Wait, Mel, you can see him on Tinder. You can see Bryan on Tinder? And Baker guy, thank you so much for the super chat. And he says, for a nice cold Coke, it helps fight off the colds. Thank you, Baker guy. That was very nice of you. I'm still drinking the Gatorade. I had I did have a Coke this morning when I woke up so I wouldn't get a headache. Usually, if I don't have caffeine when I first wake up, super bad headache. So I did have one, but I'm back to drinking the Gatorade. Let's see. Jack and Coke. But I don't drink, though. I don't drink liquor, which that is true, though. It will help with colds and everything. Let's see. The documents are redacted. They don't have to. Yeah, they don't. They don't have to show the public everything that they brought out on the search warrant, but they have to list it all. I think that page with just those few items on it is just the first page, um, and they just included the first page in it because of the header and, like, all the legal stuff at the top of it or whatever, um, because if they would've just included the second page, we woulda know that there was more to it. They included the first page and act like that's all there is to it, and I firmly believe that there is more to that list than what they're showing us. Okay. Let's see. No, keep replying to some woman getting doxxed in Crystal's case. Oh, okay, Jeanette, I see what you're saying. Keep in mind this defense attorney has won a high-profile case in DP. Yes. Now, I know the one where she got the conviction overturned or whatever it was that happened in the case with the guy that she was defending, and she proved that the cops were lying. That guy ended up getting, I think, retried and ended up going to jail. I don't know what he did or why he was arrested or what his charges were or anything like that, but, um, I know that they did end up he ended up going back to court. Okay, and let's see. No, I think this is gonna be like her biggest case. Okay, there is something else. The press is fighting the gag order. Yeah. Suggestion if you don't try something else, try freezing your favorite drinks and eating them as ice. Oh, Emerald Queen, thank you. That is a good idea. All right, let me grab this article. And the troll sent this to me. I swear, y'all, if he sent me some long ass article, I'm gonna be upset. Y'all know how he likes to send stuff. Oh, good lord. All right. What is this even about? University of Idaho murders 10 key mysteries that need to be solved. All right, so this came out today. Seems like kind of a long read, but I'll just have to wing it. Marissa, he does it all the time. I think sometimes he does it on purpose. I'm already out of breath at times, and he wants me to keep reading stuff. Okay. Wait, what did Millennial say? I also heard that the defense attorney for Bryan used to be a prosecutor too, so she knows what to expect from them. Wait, was she a prosecutor? I remember hearing her credentials. I know she was like the lead, um, shit, what do you call it? Not defense attorney, public defender. I have to go back though and see if she was a prosecutor. Because if she has been a prosecutor, hey, Pickle Me Elmo, how are you? Thank you, honey. But yeah, if she has been a prosecutor, then she knows all the tricks and trades of oh, so she was. Okay. Hey, Anthony, how are you? So yeah, she's gonna know what's up then. Let's see, I heard that on a YouTube channel. Okay, I'll have to go back and look it up. Like I said, I do remember hearing um like what else she done. It might have said prosecutor or former prosecutor in there. I can't remember. I do remember her being um and if I'm not mistaken, they said something about there was like 5 public defenders I can't remember if they said in the state of Idaho, which I don't think that would be right. Seems like there would be more in the state of Idaho, but or if they were talking about that was within Latah County, but 2 of them recused themselves from the case, like, they didn't even want the case. Um, she was the only one that was qualified to take a case like his, so that's how he ended up with her, as his public defender. Everyone says she's good. Hope she is good enough but not win. Yeah, just Ian, they're saying that she's really good. Let me make myself a note. Cause I remember hearing yeah, I can't even spell credentials. I remember hearing about her, like I said, the whole, public defender thing. She's supposed to be like the number one public defender or top public defender and all that. It could have said prosecutor in there. I can't remember, but I will go back and look that up. All right. So this is the thing that Troll has sent to me that is like super long, but we're going to get through it. Okay, so it says, and y'all please bear with me, because I do get out of breath a little bit. So if I stop for a second, that'll be the reason why. She's number 1 out of 1. She's supposed to be top notch, y'all. Let's just hope that she's not so top notch with this. All right, so it says in Moscow, Idaho, Bryan Kohberger's arrest has raised a lot of questions about the Idaho quadruple murders, but the speculation focuses on 2 key points without any solid information. What's the motive? Oh, Marissa, you sent this to me as well? Okay, well, thank you, honey. I haven't had a chance to check my email today, so that's why I didn't see it. Hey, Kelly, how are you? All right, so it says, what's the motive and where's the murder weapon? Yet there is one source of information that we do have, the arrest warrant affidavit of Corporal Brett Payne. Ashley B, yes. Okay, while still speculative, a close read of that document raises some important points. One, why didn't DM call 911 after seeing the perp? So this has been the most remarked upon aspect of the affidavit. Adding to it is the fact that even 7 hours later, DM's first call was not to 911, but to friends who arrived and apparently participated in the 911 call. Hey, Linda G, how are you? What has been overlooked has been strongly positive aspect of DM's eyewitness encounter. Her description of who she saw in the house undoubtedly helped inform the focus on Kohberger once his car was found, and as such informed the subsequent search warrants done on his phone's movements and likely his social media, cloud account, and other digital platforms. All right, so number 2, how did reviews of forensic downloads of records from BF and DM, which is going to be Bethany and Dylan, other phones, leads investigators to believe that the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m., which was on page 5. Presumably, both surviving roommates consented to a dump of their phones for the night in question and likely the morning after. What content there helped investigators fix the time of death? And I heard somewhere today, I don't remember whose channel it was on. No, actually I do, but I'm not gonna say who it was that said it. Um, she's claiming that law enforcement goes in and they look at Dylan and Bethany's phone, and because it didn't show that they were on their phones, hey, the suspect way, it doesn't show that they were on their phones at 10 o'clock in the morning, meant that they were still asleep at 10 o'clock in the morning, which does not mean that. They very well could have been awake and just not been on their phone. Hey Shane, how are you? Okay, the Kim lady had a lot to say, make you go, yeah, Joanne, she does. Okay, so the next one, number 3, it says, why the term suspect vehicle 1 as opposed to simply suspect vehicle? And that was on page 5. Sent you a link for the countertop ice maker. Just now, please. Okay, thank you, Emerald Queen. Okay, so they're wanting to know, is there a second car, or is this just a vestige of language from earlier in the investigation? I think it's just standard language. I mean, I've done some, legal transcription, and they always, or even in just general transcription, if you have a person speaking, they always number the person as one, and it could be the same thing as this. Just because it says suspect vehicle 1 doesn't necessarily mean that there's another suspect. It just could be, um, just how they word their documents, their legal documents. Okay. Why did Kim go to Drunk Turkey instead of NBC? I don't know, Hocus Pocus. I mean, I'm hoping that she's told FBI everything that she's saying on these panels. Um, I mean, I know she says she's went to them, but I'm just hoping that, she's told them everything first. Let's see. I think it's impossible to wake up 3 times and not hear what's going on. It doesn't matter how drunk or high you are. Police have more info than from DM, I think. Yeah, the suspect way. I think they do. I think they just give enough from DM to put in the probable cause in order to get the the arrest warrant for Bryan. I think that's all it was. I'm sure there's a lot more that they didn't include in there. Okay, so it says, where was the latent shoe print found and in what direction was it pointing? This matters because it could well indicate the killer's path throughout the house and therefore the order of the murders and even potentially the main target. Also, the print wasn't discovered until the second crime scene team used a special liquid that illuminates blood. It was a latent print, not a patent visible print. With so much blood at the scene, the police have described as graphic, it begs the question, did the perpetrator attempt to clean up after the crime? Let's see your statement. Oh, Shane, I bet you her statement probably be like a book. Bethany, I don't know so much. Allegedly, Bethany's story really never has changed. Bethany from the beginning was always on the first floor. When the affidavit came out, she was still on the first floor. It was always Dylan's that changed. Dylan happened to be on the second floor. She happened to hear all this. She happened to see this person in her house, but for unknown reasons didn't call the police till 7 hours later. But Bethany's, from what I can remember, basically stayed the same throughout everything. Philly Sports, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was very nice of you. Not just a book, an entire library. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that there's more from Dylan than what they were just saying, which I think it would be, than what they were just showing us on that affidavit. No, she very well could have been like, okay, this dude had a mask on, it was covering his nose and his mouth. He had a hoodie on or he had a hat on. Um, she might have noticed that he was carrying the knife in his hand, and that's the reason why she locked herself in her room because, you know, she saw the knife and it scared her. They're not showing us everything that they have. And yeah, I do think that we need I, Bethany doesn't owe us anything, but it would be nice to hear something about her. All right, let me get back over to this. Okay, so number 5, it says, why, if Kohberger's car was discovered by Washington State University police on November the 29th, did the task force allow him to leave town 2 weeks later? That is a good question. So it says this is a big one. Consider Kohberger matched DM's description of the perp. Owned a Weta launcher of the correct year, and the car was missing a front plate, just like the car in the videos police pulled. Pretty unique. Why not get a search warrant and do a sneak and peek in the car or at that point to check for DNA or blood? Why not get Kohberger's DNA from his garbage in Pullman at that point? Was the task force simply too overburdened? As it is, Kohberger, an unaccused, a quadruple murderer, and I'm sorry, y'all, I just read that all completely wrong. An accused quadruple murderer ended up at large for another month. While the task force undeniably did a masterful job on the case, this one is puzzling. I mean, why not go get something, from his trash like they did his family's trash in Pennsylvania? I think if they if they've had this guy, they've been watching him or he's been on their radar. I don't understand why they didn't do what needed to be done to get his DNA, match it to what they found on the sheath instead of letting this guy run rampant, basically, of free will for a month later where he possibly could have done this to someone else. Or come back and try to do something to Dylan and or Bethany. All right, so number 6 is were the car stops in Indiana done? It says the reported reason has been to check Kohberger's hands for cuts, but clearly more than a month after the murders, and with the task force already in possession of some very solid evidence against him, the risk-reward ratio for the tactic was poor. Would his cuts have been already healed? Would the stop not tip him off to the cops' focus? As it is, Kohberger began wearing gloves outside his home back in Pennsylvania and reportedly made efforts to hide his garbage among his neighbors. And this appears to be the only contact that he had with police before his arrest. Clearly, the stops raised him up. It is there another reason this call was made? I had heard that FBI had him stop him to check his hands, but then it was said that they didn't. And Jersey, yes, she still is to me too. And I've actually been saying that from day one that there was something about her. Hey, Deal, how are you? But I just never could put my finger on what it was. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me get back over here. So number 7 says, why did Kohberger reportedly take such a circuitous route from the crime scene? Troll and his phone is going off over there again, y'all. Hey Jerry, how are you? I bet Ann waxes his eyebrows before court. I guarantee y'all, I don't know if that's legal though, because would it could a defense attorney do that? Like if that's how um a suspect is identified by bushy eyebrows, would his attorney be legally allowed to, like, keep his eyebrows trimmed through this whole process? Okay. Okay, so she would be allowed to do that. Okay. That's just that's curious. Alright. 'Cause honestly, his eyebrows do not look like they're that bushy. Or that Indiana was doing a campaign to pull over tailgaters as there had been problems with pileups. Hmm. Now, Mal, you can't be talking about your wife like that. Okay. Eat a burger needs scissors, not waxing. Okay, so he can do whatever he wants with this. Okay, thank you, Crime Crazy. Okay, so was he attempting to avoid leaving a video trail of his car's movements? Had he used his school's access to local video feeds in planning it? Or did he ditch the murder weapon somewhere along the way? It is interesting to note that the circuitous route that he took later in the day of the murders brought him right up to the Snake River. A lot of people I've heard have said that maybe he threw it in that river. That's where, down by was it Lewiston? The little town down there where he and went to Albertsons and all that. Like the Snake River is literally right there. Uh, okay, if I was this defense, I would put him in a mass for identification. I just don't. I mean, was there something else that she knew that she could identify him 100% other than just his bushy eyebrows? I mean, how do you positively identify somebody just by bushy eyebrows? That doesn't make sense. All right, so why did Kohberger's phone ping in Moscow at one point when the affidavit says that he wasn't there? That was another good question. Was he simply near to the border of the two cell tower zones, or did someone have his phone for some reason? Let's see. Jerry, I don't know. Um, she did say that he was dressed in all black. I don't know if there was lights on in the house. I would assume there would have been some type of lighting for her to see the bushy eyebrows. But I would think, like with dark clothing, if there was blood, she probably wouldn't have been able to see it. David R., how are you? Okay, alright, let me get back. Okay, so you need 3 points to identify the location more accurate. Load your DNA on the outside of the gloves. Okay, so did you know that if you put gloves on your DNA is on the outside of the glove? Show me a video of putting on gloves where you don't touch the outside. Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, you would, I mean, the first glove anyway, you would have obviously touch it. Um, Little Miss Naughty says two sets of gloves. So yeah, put one set on, then put your other set on. But then you got to always worry about the first set that you put on. All right. So why was Kohberger in Johnson, Idaho later in the day after the murders, and why did his phone stop reporting there? So it says another big one. Johnson, Idaho is a remote quarry area roughly 2 hours from Moscow, yet his phone reported there from 5:32 to 5:36 p.m. after the murders, and then went dead till 8:30 p.m. Did he ditch evidence out there? So further, what does the paragraph's concluding sentence mean? That this is consistent with the 8458 phone being in the area, that the 8458 phone traveled in the hours immediately following the suspected time of the homicides occurred. Despite the typo, and they said, I supplied the missing in. This is a very mysterious, opaque sentence. Was he in Johnson twice after the murders? I'm gonna have to go back over the whole affidavit to y'all because it's still confusing how they worded it. I know some people are saying it's a very well done affidavit, but the way they did it is just it's not in order. Okay, so it was never in Johnson, Idaho. It was a typo. It was Johnson, Washington. Okay. All right. Then they want to know why a 6-month continuance. Yeah, I'm probably gonna pass out. Okay, Mar, you have a good night, honey. Okay, so Mel said that they would tape over the fingerprints, then put the gloves on. Okay. And Lawnmower Man, I'm not sure what's in Johnson, Washington. That's just a way that he, for whatever reason, went through there. And I believe they're saying that his phone quit reporting while he was in that area. Okay, so the revised version of the PCA attached with the unsealed search warrant corrected it to Johnson, Washington. Okay, thank you, Jim. I still haven't got through all of that thing either, y'all. I attempted to read it today, and it was just like I wasn't feeling it today. All right, number 10 wants to know why a 6-month continuance. So it says, with all the evidence in the affidavit and more likely already gathered, a 6-month delay for a simple probable cause hearing is highly unusual. I understand that this doesn't mean that the trial begins in 6 months. After this hearing, there will be an arraignment where he will plead, a likely motion to change venue in a discovery process, evidentiary motions and hearings, jury selection, a trial, and then potentially a sentencing. At this rate, the process could take years. Why did the prosecution and the judge so readily agree? Are there plea negotiations going on? Does the prosecution need time to search for a weapon to investigate possible prior bad acts? I just took it as his attorney, like she needed more time to gather evidence and build a case to help him. Okay, none of these observations, to my mind, damages the case against Kohberger. I don't see any of them raising reasonable doubt, but going forward, it will be answered to the above that will provide a fuller picture of the prosecution's case. I think that was all of it. Yes, it was just those 10 questions. Scott Ash, how are you? Okay, 6 months is not long. Middle hearing, and no, it just happened. And technically, y'all, it was only like little over 5 months. Hey, Brian Hoffman, how are you? Let's see, the coroner on the case who got the time of death all wrong is now representing. Wait, the coroner's not representing Brian Kohberger. Hey, Julie, how are you? BK is gonna fry up like a piece of crispy bacon in a cast iron. Oh, psycho. Now I'm gonna have y- like, visions of bacon like that. Oh, yes, Brian. The coroner is representing the 19-year-old that was arrested. Wasn't it for, yeah, voyeurism and I didn't know about the battery part, but I knew about the other. I don't think there's a whole lot of difference. I mean, there is some difference between Moscow and Truckee. Maybe not a whole lot. I mean, Moscow did catch the person who did this. So, okay. Let me get back into my emails. Just one second, y'all. I have to start deleting stuff after I go over it with y'all so it doesn't get all tangled up with everything else. All right. I'm gonna pull up some videos. The heck, why is this not pulling up? All right, hold on one second, y'all, because I know once this pulls up, it's gonna start playing and it's gonna be like super loud. Wolfpack, how are you? Okay. All right. So I do have two videos, so that way I don't have to read as much, so I don't get out of breath as much. After I'm through with all this, and I'm gonna open up the panel for a little while. See, I do the endlessly delete, thinking I will be able to find something only to find. Oh, Brian, I spent 4 hours the other day deleting all my old emails because my email inbox was full. So now, once I get through something while I'm live, I get done with it, read it, or play it, I just go ahead and delete it, and that way I don't have to worry about it. A Wolfpack, I'm feeling better. I'm still super tired though, so that's why I'm trying to go slow, like slower than I usually do. All right, so this one says the expert, he says it wouldn't surprise him if Kohberger tried to make contact with the victims. And another thing, you know, People Magazine came out with Brian went to, hey, Sama, how are you? Um, and Brian went to Mad Greek. He went there twice, they were saying. He ordered vegan pizza. Then Mad Greek comes out and says, no, he never came here. Who, honestly, like, who are we to believe when it comes down to a point where you have a business saying that this guy didn't come there, and then you have all these other different news media outlets and all this and that saying that he did go there, and that police or law enforcement is telling the media that they are aware of him going there 2 different times and ordering the vegan pizza. So which people are we to believe? I can understand if Mad Greek is coming out and being like, no, he didn't come here because they're kind of like they don't want their business to have a bad name, because the murderer went there and all that. But seriously, though, who are we to believe? I think that that could be what it is, Lawnmower Man. Like, but on another note, though, if something like that happened in the town that I live in, I wouldn't hold it against a restaurant if the person went there and ate. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't I wouldn't hold that against him. I wouldn't not go there because he ate there before he committed the crime. Okay, I do apologize for seeing my wife has a mustache. Mal, you're too funny. You should apologize to your wife, though, but that is funny. All right, y'all, let me get this play in. It's only a little over, it's almost 4 minutes long, so.
To your veteran of the FBI and private investigator, Dennis Franks. Dennis, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
The restaurant is disputing the claims about Kohberger. Is this another case of simple misinformation?
It's hard to say. I mean, I would not be surprised at all that there were some sightings where he was present, where they were present, one or more of the victims present at some time. I would venture to say that that's more than likely the case. In this situation, it's hard to say really if that happened or not.
What was your thought about the items that were taken from the search warrant that we learned about this week?
Yeah, they're telltale signs, usually hair samples or something that you look for in a search. They're certainly being analyzed and compared to his as well as the victims. I think there was even dog hair that was taken. And if he doesn't own a dog, they'll compare it with the dog that was there. I think there's just an accumulation of evidence throughout this case that really makes a strong prosecution.
What is the likelihood you think that they can prove in court that it was Kohberger's DNA found inside of that house? It was a known party house. There was a lot of traffic, presumably a lot of DNA in that house.
Well, they did get the DNA off the knife sheath. And I'm sure that when he was arrested, they had a warrant to take his DNA, and that is being analyzed. If it hasn't already, they should have the results. And if I were a betting person, I would bet that there's a strong chance it will show up as his DNA. It already has, the connection with his father, that the DNA taken off the garbage in the house in Pennsylvania, that linked him with the son as being, 99% chance.
We've also heard in reports that the alleged killer attempted to message one of the victims. What are your thoughts on this?
That this type of a killer, if he is guilty of it, or whoever did this, it would not surprise me that they were trying to message or get in touch. Maybe there's some previous communications. I'm sure they're going to go back and look at phone records from months, or if not years prior to this, and determine if that could have been the case. Again, we'll have to wait and see what shows up in court.
And let's talk about the gag order as it stands right now. It is extensive from the judge. And we know there are these 22 news organizations, including the Associated Press. They're banding together. They're asking the judge to narrow the order to reconsider. And they say it's incredibly important that the public understands and has context of our criminal justice system. It's important to be able to cover this. What is your perspective on this? Is a gag order to this extent unprecedented? Is it the right thing for the judge to do?
In my view, it is a very strong gag order that is present in this state. I think it's necessary sometimes if there's a lot of pretrial publicity, if one side or the other, whether it's the government or defense attorney, are trying to score points, trying to influence the public before the trial starts. But I think there's a right for the public and the press to have sufficient information that is what's going on at the time. So this one is, I think, very stringent. We'll see if they loosen up some.
Dennis Franks, appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Joanne. Let's see. It's obvious she believes it. I'm just catching up real quick, y'all. And Mal, I do agree. The gag order should have been issued day one. Especially whenever you have several different victims and families. Then you get into those families' attorneys, like we've seen his attorney over Bryan's attorney in Pennsylvania should have been I think he should have been included in the gag order too. So I was just curious, been hearing a lot about the last couple of days, but I haven't been. I did Philly sports. I mean, I've listened to her here and there, but I haven't just sit down and listened to everything that she says. I just hope that everything she's saying, like she's putting the truth out there, but she's went and talked to police first. The coroner should have been in the gag order. Musical, yes. And it should be like a law all across the board, like for all states. If you're a coroner and you're calling a family member about a victim in their report, that you only talk to someone who is over 18, not a 17-year-old child. Like, she should have, I think she should have known better with that because a 17-year-old, if you ask a lot of 17-year-olds, "Hey, do you think you can handle this information?" They're gonna be like, "Oh, yeah," because they think that they're grown. They don't grasp the whole thing of how serious and how graphic it is. Um, she should have, yeah. I just I would have been very upset if she would have talked to my 17-year-old daughter and told her graphic information about her sister who had been murdered. I'd I'd be livid. Okay. Let's see. Thank you, Crime Crazy. So she's saying panel reminder. And I'm gonna go over these real quick as Crime Crazy is posting them. So I'm gonna open up the panel here in just a minute. Be brief, stay on topic. Others may want to speak. So yes, if you come up, please stay on topic. Um, be patient. Don't speak over the top of someone else. I guess that's Crime Crazy. Is that all you got? Oh, and three, do not state your opinion as fact unless you are knowledgeable about the subject legal procedures. Okay, we got any more? Wolfpack, you didn't really miss a whole lot. I was going over like basically speculating, like, they had found the Walmart receipt in his apartment during the search warrant, and it had a Dickies tag with it. And so I was wondering maybe, and even I believe it was Marissa had even said it in chat as I was getting ready to pull it up, that maybe it was the Dickies coveralls that hey, small town girl. Maybe he had went and bought Dickies coveralls, like the long sleeve coveralls, and just wore them over his clothes. He went to the house. He did, what we all know happened, and then he could have very easily just, went out to his car, left out of the house, and went out to his car, and just slipped them off and put them in a bag. Probably cargo pants. I mean, yeah, or it could have been the mask, but for whatever reason, they took one Walmart receipt and with the Dickies tag, and then they took 2 receipts from Marshalls. I've never shopped at Marshalls. I don't know what all they have there. I didn't even look them up online. Um, I would assume clothes. I don't know if they have Dickies stuff there or, I'm sure they have face masks and stuff like that, but whatever was on those 2 receipts from Marshalls, they wanted those as well. "Hey, Sarah M., how are you?" And she said, "This part bothers me. Confusion ensued in the hours before the police were called," said another neighbor who identified herself as the best friend of one of the surviving roommates hours before. There's Hey there, Krista, how are you? Um, see, Krista says, "I'm so glad you're here. I've missed you so much, Scarlett." Oh, Krista, I've missed all of you as well. Coveralls make more sense. That's why the sheath wasn't on a belt in a pocket. That is true, Marissa. I mean, it just, they do have Dickies at Marshall's. Okay, thank you, Izzy. I mean, just it would make more sense. You know what I'm saying? He just wears a I'm sure blood would go through him if he got enough on him. It would go through the coveralls on his clothes, but, you know, if he had clothes underneath them, but it just makes more sense. Marshalls, Ross's, TJ Maxx, all the same type of stores. Okay. I think we have Marshalls here, but I think they're, like, several hours away. We do have TJ Maxx, though. That's everything, including bras in the aisles on occasion. Let's see. As an Australian, what kind of stores Marshalls? Okay, so musical, do y'all have like they're saying Marshalls, Ross's, TJ Maxx are all the same type of stores. I wouldn't say they're like a thrift store. What is like would they be considered like an overstock store? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so like a clear out store, discount store. Okay. Brand name wholesaler. Okay, so they would be considered an overstock store. Okay. So, yeah, clearance store. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I think if we have a Marshalls here, they're like several hours away, but um, we do have TJ Maxx, and then we have another store here. Um, I can't remember what the other one, but it's sort of like TJ Maxx and all that. Let's see, they get merchandise from other stores. Okay. Marshalls has. Oh, I can't think of the other store though, but it's sorta like a TJ Maxx, but I can't remember the name of it. Let's see, they buy merchandise like Macy's to sell at Marshalls. Yeah, I've never shopped at a Marshalls, so I didn't know, so thank y'all for letting me, know. Target is I would say Target is like like Walmart. Home Goods. We used to have a Burlington here too, but we haven't had one in a while. I think they closed all them down. Yeah, Target is more like Kmart and, um, Walmart and all that. Hey, Courtney, how are you? Alright, so I'm going to put the link. Nordstrom Rack is like Marshalls. Yeah, so we don't have a Nordstrom either. Yeah, I can't even think of the other store. They literally just built one here not long ago where we live at. Kim, how are you? Okay, Target is, yeah, much better quality than Walmart. American Virtual, yeah, I wasn't really sick per se. I just was having chest pains the other night and wasn't able to get my heart rate to go down. It's like over 100 for several hours, over 100 beats per minute. So I rested that night and finally got it to come down and then talked to the doctor the next day, and the next week I gotta go see another doctor. Thank you, Crumb Crazy. JC, how are you? Eli, yes, I was dehydrated, but y'all, I've drank enough Gatorade. I ain't dehydrated no more. All right, let me find this other video real quick. Jerry. All right. Oh my gosh, this plays so loud. Small town girl, no, I haven't. Well, Jersey, to begin with, though, I wasn't drinking it. I didn't start drinking it until afterwards because I was dehydrated. All right. Yes, and please no fighting in the chat. We for sure don't need no fighting in here. And Crime Crazy, I think you're the only mod. If Troll is not busy, oh, okay. He said he's here. If you need me to slow the chat down, Crime Crazy, just let me know, okay? All right. So this one is former FBI agent discusses connection between Kohberger and the victims, and it's like almost 6 minutes long. So I'm gonna mute out while this is playing. The Kristen, no, I don't think that there has been, and thank you, Irene. I think Crime Crazy was just putting it in chat as a reminder. The part 2 of the 35. Jen, I don't know. I never seen where, usually if they're gonna release like a part 2 to something, they would usually put like a date on there, but I didn't ever see a date. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this playing. Back it up some. And then I'm gonna mute out. If y'all need to get my attention, just let Crime Crazy or Troll know, and they know how to get my attention in the chat.
There are some new details coming out tonight about alleged reports surrounding the Idaho murder suspect. Early this week, People magazine reported that Kohberger ate at a restaurant where two of the victims worked as waitresses. News Nation spoke with Steve Helling, a senior crime writer for People, yesterday. This is what he had to say.
Whether or not his paths crossed with the girls there and whether or not that's where it started, that's something that the cops would know for sure. But we know for sure that he ate there at least twice.
But now the Mad Greek restaurant is rejecting reports that alleged killer Bryan Kohberger dined there shortly before the murders. In a Facebook post, the restaurant saying, quote, "This will be my only response to the story from People. It is not true." Now, this comes as new documents released this week show a laundry list of items seized from Kohberger's home. This includes a red-stained pillow, mattress covers, along with nitrile gloves and receipts. The release of that information came after the judge in the case expanded a gag order on who can and cannot speak to the media, and it now includes the victims' families and their attorneys. So we want to bring in Tracy Walder here, former CIA officer and FBI special agent. Tracy, it's great to see you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Natasha. Good to see you.
Good to see you. What was your reaction after hearing the Mad Greek restaurant is rejecting the notion that Kohberger dined there?
Part of me thought, okay, well, this is just false reporting then on behalf of People magazine. But then I realized that there is a gag order in place. And, if information did get out, there could be legal consequences for that. And also it can affect the ultimate prosecution of Bryan Kohberger. And so part of me wonders if the owner is trying to sort of walk that back a little bit. So that's really where my thoughts were.
Interesting. And we've also heard in reports of the alleged killer attempted to message one of the victims on social media. What are your thoughts on this?
So interestingly, I don't make a tremendous amount out of it. I get messages to my social media that I don't necessarily know that I have because, if you go into Instagram, you actually have to physically look at those message requests. And so whichever victim that he did message, it could be two reasons. It could be one, they really wanted nothing to do with him, or the second reason could be they had really no idea that he had sent them a message request. But what it does point to is the fact that Kohberger did, in a way, sort of have that tertiary contact with one of the victims and perhaps made more out of that contact than perhaps they did.
At this point, do you think that he specifically targeted one or more of the victims?
I always, hate to hypothesize. I personally do think that he targeted one of the victims. I've kind of maintained that from the beginning. And my biggest reason, and I think Mr. Gonsalves said this, was that he didn't have to go upstairs. That's really my biggest sort of indicator as to why I do think that he targeted one of the victims. That's incredibly risky to do. And it really accelerated his chances of ultimately being caught.
Now, if it is found that he was DMing or trying to message these victims, can the prosecution use any of this against Kohberger going forward?
Yes, I would imagine so, because what it does is it really kind of points to his premeditation. So if you look at sort of that laundry list of things that was found in his apartment, things like receipts, which I know not a lot has been made out of those, but those all point to things like premeditation. If he went and purchased things beforehand, that shows that he really was planning this. And it's the same thing with those direct message requests. Was he targeting someone? Was he planning this? All of those things, in my opinion, point to the premeditation of this crime.
And what are your thoughts regarding the items removed from Kohberger's home in that newly released search warrant?
Yeah, so the reality is it was obviously such a gruesome crime scene and such a bloody crime scene that he had to have taken something with him. I don't care if he wore, the full painter suit into that. And what I saw that was the most interesting to me were actually some of the hairs that were recovered, and then the kind of swatches of pillowcases that were also recovered. And so I'm wondering if from those things they're going to be able to actually place the forensic evidence of the victims into his apartment. So that was one of the bigger takeaways for me from that.
And one last question for you, Tracy. The gag order is extensive from this judge. We now know that more than 20 news organizations, including the Associated Press, are forming a coalition. They're asking the judge to narrow this order. Why have such an extensive gag order? Is this the right thing for the judge to do?
This is unusual. Obviously, to your point, it is incredibly extensive and it's incredibly broad. And I really haven't seen media reaction like this before. I do think that it is very large reaching. I think one of the things that the judge is trying to do is there's a lot of online discussion and a lot of online chatter about this case. And he doesn't want anything sort of tainting that pool of the prosecution of the case. And I understand it from that perspective. However, I do think that this is a bit of an overreach, and especially how it affects the victims and the victims' families and their ability to talk about this case.
All right, Tracy Wilder, as always, appreciate your insight and time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me get this down so it doesn't start playing again. Okay. Oh shit. All right, 1 second. Yeah, Philly, hold on and I will drop a link. 1 second. Let me grab it real quick. Okay. All right, anybody's welcome to come up. Okay, if I'm in a plane crash, well, Boogeyman, how are you? Hold on. All right, so hidden from Biden, you can't be coming in here making remarks like that in my chat. All right. So give me just 1 second and we'll pull up this last article I have. Cool Gamer, how are you? All right, y'all. I'm just trying to get this pulled up here. Look up. Marissa, who you talking about, honey? Yeah, do you think Brian Nober's parents were afraid of him? Psycho, I mean, yeah, he did. Brian talked about, I think it was his Tappa Talk account. He talked about like he didn't, whenever he would hug his parents, he didn't feel anything, and like he had no emotion towards them, I guess. I would assume that, yeah, they more than likely were probably scared of him. Werewolf Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, "Pull the mod squad." Well, thank you, honey. That was very nice of you. All right, Philly, I'm fixing to bring you up. All right, can you hear me? Philly, can you hear me? Okay, I cannot hear Philly. Hey, Vapor, how are you?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me? Okay, so he must not be able to hear me, y'all. Could y'all hear him whenever he said hello? Hey, Shells, how are you?
Hello?
Okay, can you hear me, Philly? Okay, so y'all could hear him. Okay. For some reason, he can't hear me. That is weird. All right, Ray, I'm bringing you up also. Ray, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I saw
Okay.
Philly got up. I was like, nobody's going up. I might as well just go up and at least say what's up.
He, for some reason though, he can't hear me, I don't guess.
You better jump out and then jump back in.
Because I could hear him when he would say hello, and then I sent a message in private chat to ask if he could hear me, but okay, no, he said, "Sorry, let me close out and come back in." So,
That's what I said.
yeah, so I don't know. That is weird. So
Yeah,
maybe
I
he'll be able
wasn't even-
to, once he comes back in, maybe he'll be able to hear me.
yeah, I was just gonna sit in the back and
Uh,
do my little comments, but like I said, I didn't see nobody jumping up.
Yeah, I figured people would want to come up tonight, but I didn't really have I've been laying around all day today and didn't really have a whole lot put together. Hey, King Scarlet, how are you?
Well, I was thinking about something, with the Ann Walsh case where they put in their affidavit, about all the little computer queries that he did on his child's iPad or, device. Why didn't they put any type of queries that Brian Kohberger put, if he did any, on his computer or any of his devices?
Hmm. I don't know. There's it's just a lot of crazy things that go on with this case. So Sweet Mama Alabama, you can't hear me? Okay.
Oh, El Guapo's here finally.
uh, Let's see. Has anybody else said that they can't hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, she's saying in chat, am I the only one who can't hear her? Who? Okay, Space Ghost. Okay, they said they can hear. Well, let's see. I can't hear her. I can't hear her. I don't know. That is
Mm, most people say they hear you fine.
okay. So let me ask this. If y'all, let me just type it because if they can't hear me, then they're not going to know.
I hear everybody responding. They hear you.
Yeah. I just want to see if if still those two cannot hear me because they were the only two
Sweet
that were
Mama
saying,
says, yeah, Sweet Mama Alabama says she can't hear you.
okay, I can't hear her. I can see her thing moving. What the heck? Okay, it was her and Space Ghost, I believe, was the other one that said that they couldn't hear me. Okay, so all right, so the suspect Quay can't hear me. Oh wait, I said if you can't hear me, put a 1 in the chat. So I wonder if they read that wrong. King Scarlet can hear. Uh, hmm. I don't know, y'all. I don't know why they're not able to hear me. I don't know. Hey, Cricket Moon, how are you? Kitty, how are you? Hey, Vanessa. All right, Philly, do you need the link? Let me grab the link here. All right, Philly, I'm putting the link back out for you. Okay. And Philly, when he came up, he wasn't muted either. I was able to hear him fine, but I don't know why he wasn't able to hear me. Jody is cool. How are you? I don't know. Okay, let's see who this is. All right, so Philly. Okay, Philly, can you hear me now? Oh, he still can't hear me. Oh my gosh. I don't understand what Ray, you can hear me fine and I can hear you fine. I don't understand why Philly can't.
Hello?
Philly, can you hear us? Ray, you can hear me fine and I can hear you fine. Okay, somebody's got me up in the background. And Ray, someone in chat asked what was your dog's name?
Ginger.
Okay. That is weird. Everybody can hear Philly, but he can't hear me. Hmm. And he's not muted or I don't know. Hey Moonvale, how are you? No, chatter, everybody's unmuted up here. Because I can see whenever they're on panel if they're muted or not. All right, so Ray, what is your take on all of this that we've heard so far?
Weren't you going to play something else?
No, it's just an article that I was going to read. I've done played. I only had like 2 videos for tonight.
My take is, I believe Ellie, if stuff isn't like straight, like evidence stuff, they should put it out
Mhm.
instead of everybody wildly speculating. Because like with the Mad Greek thing, the ex-employees saying they at least came in, that Kohberger at least came in 2 times. I said that was BS from the beginning, and I still think it is.
It's yeah, because it's weird how we have to begin with, it was just People Magazine coming out and saying it, but now it's like all these other news companies have picked it up. I think News Nation has picked it up. There was another one that I seen that picked it up, and they're all saying that he came in there twice, ordered the vegan pizza, that law enforcement has been made aware of it, and has said that they know about him going in the 2 different times and all that, and then you've got Mad Greek coming out saying, "No, People Magazine is wrong." So, like I said, I'm just wondering if they're maybe trying to keep their name clean, which I don't understand why anybody would wanna hold that against them. They couldn't
And,
help that the guy went there and ate if he did.
and then another thing about Dylan's statement, uh, you know, it was speculated that she changed her statement. You know, I think a lot of people have been interviewed more than once.
Mhm.
And at first, she said she was downstairs, and maybe, you know, it's supposedly she got a lawyer like off the rip. And
Right.
maybe after talking to the lawyer said, "Hey, you need to tell them what you saw." Because she was afraid, possibly, you know, with the speculation of possible drug being involved, that she was afraid she was going to get in trouble.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like we said, I don't think that they've showed us everything either, you
Well, for
know.
them to lie publicly, for the LE to lie publicly, if they were lying, that doesn't help the prosecution. It hurts it.
Right. Yeah, and there was, like, I seen somewhere else where somebody had said something about, some stuff that was put in the probable cause, but, I mean, law enforcement can't put any
False
any
stuff in there
right, yeah,
because
they can't
that could void it.
well, yeah, I mean, they can't obtain, an arrest warrant for someone off of false information.
Well, that's what I
Um,
said. If they you know told a story, it would void that, and then it would all that evidence they collected would get tossed out.
right. So and I forgot where I seen that at, but somebody was talking about that. Um, I forgot exactly how they said it, but it was something to do with, about how do we know that what was in there was correct or whatever, but yeah, they can't obtain a an arrest warrant for someone on false information, so,
Well, I guess they
yeah.
could, but if it got proven to be
I mean,
false, then
yeah.
everything gets thrown out.
I mean, in a case like this, though, would you wanna take a chance on it possibly getting found out that it was false information and then it getting thrown out?
Well, Ellie from the beginning was saying we're trying to convict somebody. We're not trying to just get an arrest warrant. We want to
Mhm.
convict somebody. So I believe they have a lot more evidence than that they say, but there's questionable evidence, like the footprint I've said from the beginning. How do you only find one footprint that isn't visible by the eye? There should be more than one footprint. You know, there should be several
Oh,
footprints. They might
yes,
maybe
especially with all
withholding
that
that.
blood.
Yeah, they may be withholding that, but I kind of think it leads credence to somebody clean it up. I mean, that's speculating, and that's my opinion, but that's what I see.
I mean, they could have. And Zara, how are you? Hey, Jessica, how are you? And wait, where did the lady go? She just said she had a question. Uh, Debbie, would you like to come on panel? I seen where you said that you had a question. Let I keep moving my screen around and it keeps moving my little invite button, and I have to go searching for it now. There was somebody else that said something. Let's see. And yeah, Lori, there is almost 8 hours that's unaccounted for. Unless, yeah, we have to keep going back and thinking. Law enforcement, they're not telling us everything that was said in the interviews. She might have told them a whole reason why she waited that long. She could have told him the reason why she went back in her room and locked her door and why she was so scared. She might have told him all of that and we just don't know it because they haven't showed us everything. All right, Philly, can you hear us now? He still can't hear us.
Well, I see some sweet mama says Ellie is a bunch of effing liars. What's a good thing is Ellie can lie legally. They don't
Yes.
have to tell the truth.
Yeah. I mean, especially if it's to protect the integrity of a case, then yeah, they can get away with it. I mean, they can't do it like we were saying to obtain legally to obtain an arrest warrant. But yeah, they can lie and say that they've heard this or was told that or whatever. Well, it could be completely the opposite. I don't know why Philly's not able to hear us. Like I said, he's not muted or anything. I don't know. That is so weird. He's been up here before and it's worked perfectly. Let's see. Space Ghost, no one up here is law enforcement. We're just up here talking about the case, giving our opinions, speculating. Okay, wait. Space Ghost, are you trolling my chat? Vapor, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know what's up with Philly Sports.
I don't either.
Like he's been up here several different times, and he's always been able to hear everything. Let me see. Thank you, Crime Crazy. I think Space Ghost has been in here trolling tonight. So, how are you doing?
Not bad. Just got done with Supercross, so I jumped back on here.
That sounds like fun.
Well, yeah, it's always fun.
Do you like flat track?
Not too much. I mean, I know about it. I just don't really watch it. Don't keep up with it too much.
All right. So, Vapor, what is your opinion on all of this that
Oh,
we've heard so far?
Well, let's think for a second here. I mean, everybody's bringing up this drug angle, and I don't know where it got said or where somebody seemed to think that it was a known drug house. I'm not sure where that came from. Is it just a bunch of hearsay that everybody's saying, or
who said that to begin? Was that the guy that brought them home? That said that the private driver or whatever. I think he's the one that came out and said that.
That's
so
where
he bought drugs from them there.
I don't know.
Well, that's where it allegedly came from. We don't know that
to begin with.
Yeah.
So it's hearsay from him hearing it from people he's brought there.
Sounds like it, yes.
We'll take a look at everybody in that house that we know lived there.
Mm-hmm.
And then what? Dylan was supposed to be the drug dealer?
Yeah, they were saying something about her and her boyfriend.
Okay, that's what I was going to bring up. So her boyfriend says he's never been to that city.
Which I don't believe.
I don't either. But I mean, but if she was the drug dealer, 100% he's been there. He's the one that wants to be the gangbanger, not her.
Yes. Yeah,
but she doesn't.
He's like one of those, like I said, you can like thump him and knock him over, but he wants to be big and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, what's that movie? Beverly Hills Gangsters or something with the kids that,
Mm-hmm.
They're a bunch of little wannabes. But here's the thing. I mean, if she was the drug dealer of the house, there's no way he hadn't been there.
Oh, yeah. I call bullshit on that.
But I mean, to me, she doesn't look like a drug addict.
You gotta think of one thing though. Nobody lived there until this semester except for Maddie. Everybody else just moved in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, did you ever go back and listen to Olivia's interview with that the Kim lady? Is that her name, Kim, the mom?
I listened to, I want to say most of it. I don't think I listened to like the whole thing because it was a little over an hour long. Just the interview part of it, and I want to say I got through most of it.
I don't know what I think of that. I mean, on one hand, I think that the stuff she says about her daughter knowing about everything by 10 o'clock in the morning, I mean, it almost has to be true because they can prove that or disprove it through text messages.
Right.
But the whole story of Dylan or Bethany or one of the two or both of them seeing three people out there from their window, I don't believe that at all. Because if there
Yeah,
was 3 people they could see from that window, the camera would have picked it up, just like the camera picked him up trying to park in their driveway.
exactly. Philly, can you hear us now? He still can't hear us.
And I agree with Lawnmower Man. I think Bethany's the key.
I keep thinking that too, because she's the only one that's like truly quiet and
Yeah.
never heard nothing.
Nope. You haven't heard not a peep.
I wonder if she has lawyered up, and that's the reason why we haven't heard anything from her.
I don't know, because you would have thought if she was just as, valid or just as important to the case as Dylan, and we all heard as soon as Dylan lawyered up, everybody knew right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
But we never
But
heard anything about that.
That again is speculation, and I believe they only put Dylan's statement in there to get the warrants. They only put enough in there to get the warrants. They have a lot more.
No,
Yeah,
it's 100%.
I think they do.
I mean, they're not going to give you. They're only going to give as much as they need in order to get what they want.
Exactly.
And I think it took so long to get the warrants because they had to wait for that genealogical DNA to come back. And that takes like on a regular, I believe it's 8 weeks. At least I looked it up, and that's what they say is 8 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they had to prove some kind of link,
And I don't believe really, I feel just like that one question. I can't remember what number it was. And I've always had that question is why didn't they pick up Bryan Kohberger's garbage from the apartment when they already had the lead on the car weeks in advance?
Yeah, that didn't make sense either.
Well, I mean, they also had to send the DNA out that they found the touch DNA on the sheath button. They had to send that out to see what came back. Maybe it didn't come back for a while. By the time it came back, maybe he was already,
Okay, there are 2 different types of DNA tests. A regular DNA test you can do within 2 days. So they knew that it was an unknown male very, very soon in the investigation. They just didn't know who.
But didn't they get his dad's back quick though, right?
Well,
but that
was
leads you back. That leads you back to Bryan Kohberger had did a DNA test, a genealogy.
He did.
I can't speak right, but he did his own DNA test like months before.
Yeah,
so they
I
already
believe.
had his DNA on record somewhere.
When was it? Okay, so he in the article that I had played last night, he said that he talked to his neighbor in August, and that's when he had told his neighbor that he had done it before then. So he was wanting to learn, what was it, his genealogy or his lineage or whatever it was.
the lineage of his.
Yeah, and that's
I mean-
why he had it done. So I don't know if maybe they had his DNA, but I don't know why they would have needed more. Well, it seems like they would have had, since he had that DNA done.
Well,
Yeah,
I know
we
somebody
don't
was
know.
talking. No, go ahead, Baver.
We don't know that he got it done. I mean, it could have all been part of a story anyway. I mean,
Well, that is true because he was like super smart and planning this probably.
Yeah, I mean, this
for
wasn't.
months.
This didn't happen on the 11th and 12th. He didn't just decide, all right, let's go fuck somebody up.
Well, I was gonna say there's only 4 like companies that do that type of DNA testing. And two of the companies share the testing with the FBI. The other companies, they don't share it. Now the FBI can get that information, you understand, but they don't share it like readily. So he could have did it with one of the other companies and they just didn't share that information.
You're talking about the private companies that do it for public citizens.
Yes.
For the genealogical stuff.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's, I don't know.
And then the samples that the DNA, the ones that they share is only like 2 million samples.
Hmm. I don't know. This whole case is messed up, honestly.
Well, I mean, when or if we get to hear the evidence, I think everybody's going to be pretty surprised. And I know I've said this probably every time I've been up here, but right now, unless they have his blood mixed with their blood somewhere in that house, this DNA evidence, touch DNA evidence on that sheath is the weakest part of their prosecution right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're going to be able to argue, he might have touched it at a party or let someone borrow it or he sold it or like they can come up with some type of story,
Yeah, it
Well,
does.
you know.
He doesn't
So,
have to prove it's not his DNA on it, but they do have to prove when it got there if they want. Yeah,
right.
I
I've
mean,
mentioned this before. I believe like all that except for even Dylan's statement, all that is weak. The car doesn't have a license plate. Now they have experts that can look at video footage and compare a vehicle with a video of a vehicle and say within a certain percentile that that's the same vehicle. Now the phone evidence, unless they put them at the house, near the house is not at the house. And how near is near? 50 feet, 100 feet, a quarter mile, a half mile.
I mean, I don't really, I don't honestly. I mean, that's just going to try to prove premeditation, all that stuff. I mean, the videos they have supposedly that were in the affidavit of him driving up and down the street that night and all that stuff is more important in my opinion.
But I
But
wonder if they have him, like, can you physically see him on camera driving that car during those times?
I doubt it.
and
Because I
how
mean,
many white Elantras are they looking for? It was 22,000 from 11 to 13, but 11 to 15, you got to add another 22,000. So you're
right.
talking 40,000. So you're saying, I don't have a license plate. You can't see a license plate. You don't see me in the car. So how are you going to say that that's my car?
Yeah, there was
My
just
phone is
90.
not my phone is not linked to the car at that time because the phone's off or whatever. So you can't say I was there. You can't say my phone was there.
Right. But you got to remember all that information that we have is in the affidavit. And the affidavit was only given enough information for them to get the arrest
The
warrant.
arrest warrant.
And the
That is
arrest,
true.
I mean, that affidavit with the accumulation of everything they put in it gave them probable cause to give that warrant. They don't have to, I mean, that this whole affidavit stuff might be just the tip of the iceberg. They were just giving away whatever they thought they needed to
That
in
wasn't
order.
too bad. That would hurt. If it got out, it wouldn't hurt the case.
Right. I mean,
You got
how many times did they say they tried to get this warrant?
that's again speculation. You know what I mean?
That's
Hearsay. We
that's
don't know for
true.
sure.
Uh,
That's true. But if you remember everything the chief said before they made the arrest, before they made any mention of a suspect, everything was half truths. It's like they didn't want to tip him off that, well, we got an idea maybe that it's this and maybe that, but they didn't want to pinpoint everything they had because they didn't have enough to nail him down for sure yet, and they didn't want to spook him. I mean, because everything they said seemed to be half truths. A little
No,
bit
I
here.
agree. But then were trying to get that enough. The way they compiled that the affidavit, the probable cause affidavit for the search warrants, the way they compiled it is just it's to me it just feels wrong.
Hmm.
It's like they kept adding stuff. If they were trying to get the warrant over and over again, they kept adding stuff and the judge was saying, no, get something better. And they add something else. No, get something better. This ain't working. Until they finally had the DNA, where I believe they could have got the DNA sooner if they did know who he was and whatnot in November. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But wasn't it said, though, do we know for a fact that they were trying to get the warrant for Kohberger
No,
We don't.
all this
We don't
time?
know for sure. We don't know for sure.
no,
Okay,
because
because
somebody had put the rumor out there that they were
it was
trying to
for
get,
Hoodie Guy.
yeah, they were trying to get an arrest warrant for one of the Jakes or
Well, I'm
Yeah,
kind of thinking,
Jackass.
yeah.
are they going to try to get him at least out of jail in April? And are they going to fight to say, hey, this and this and that from the PCA is not correct? You know what I mean? And try to get some stuff thrown out.
I
I
mean,
just
where's he
don't
going to
think
go? Where's he
I
going to
don't think
go if
they're
they let
gonna
him out
give
on
him
bail?
bail. I mean, he can't go back to the apartment because, I mean, I'm
Nope.
sure they're still classifying that as a crime scene.
Mm.
So,
I mean,
or at least have it taped off as a crime scene, I would say. I don't know if they would
Well, I
allow
don't
him
know
back in
the
there.
legalities on that. He's still innocent until proven guilty.
that's true,
Right.
but
And you
the
can't
thing is,
discriminate against him because you think he's guilty.
I'm pretty sure that apartment was part of his perks for why he was there.
Yeah. While he was in that PhD department.
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is they can't kick him out of school because they think he's guilty. So he would still have that apartment legally.
Do you really want to go back to that school if you're him?
Well, I'm not saying that he wants to go back to school. I'm saying I wouldn't want to be in jail if I'm innocent, even if I'm portraying myself innocent.
Exactly, but where's he going to go? Back to Illinois? I mean, not
No,
Illinois.
they're not going to let him go
Yeah,
out of
he won't even
state.
be able to leave the state, more than likely. He'd have to stay in Idaho.
They probably have to pay for him to have a hotel. I mean, if he has a good lawyer.
Shit, he might as well stay in jail then.
That's
I mean,
right, because I mean,
if the county's got to pay for him a hotel, he might as well just stay in jail.
the county won't pay for it.
Well, who's gonna pay for it?
Well, his
He ain't got
parents or somebody going to have to
he
pay
ain't
for it
got no
because
money.
I
Hey
know
Shane, how are
he
you?
doesn't. But that's the thing is I mean, when they let people out of jail and they put a ankle bracelet on them, they got to pay big
Well, yeah,
money
that is
pretty
true.
much to just have that ankle bracelet.
Yeah, they have to pay
Yeah.
for the ankle bracelet. It's not free.
And they have to prove that they have a stable place to go.
Yeah, which he doesn't have, so he might as well stay in jail.
Well, maybe he could write Steve and ask him. Steve would love to have him there for about 30 seconds.
Hey,
Yeah.
maybe his lawyer put him up. Let her stay with her.
Well, that I mean, I don't even know. It's I mean,
that was a troll right
This
there.
case
That
is
wasn't-
horrible, y'all. Like,
I'm not being serious.
I'm just saying I don't think that there's a place he could go if he could get bail. And I mean, he's better off in jail because if he can't leave the state for one,
would he be safe if he was out of jail?
not a
That's
chance.
what I was gonna
No chance.
get
Yeah,
at.
I just don't.
Exactly. I was
see
gonna
it.
get at because there's crazy people that think no matter what he's guilty.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean? There's a lot of people think he's guilty.
if he was able to make bond, I wouldn't want something bad to happen to him because he needs to go through this whole court process and go be found guilty or whatever and go to jail. He
Well,
doesn't need
the
something
thing is,
bad happen to him and somebody unalive him.
we want to know why. Everybody
Right.
wants to know why. Why did this happen? If it's him, why did you do this? Why?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I
The parents need to know that. Why did he do this?
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to give that to him.
No, I think he's too arrogant. Because if he has to give a reason why he did it, then he's basically admitting he did something wrong. And I don't see him doing that.
I think if he did it and he's found guilty, he will give a why because he does want movies and books written about it and so on and so forth.
You think he would?
After the fact, after he's found guilty and given the death penalty, yeah, I believe so because he wants it to live on in perpetuality.
Oh yeah, he would for sure want the cameras to stick around. I can see that.
Yeah, he's not going to want to be out of the attention of the public.
No.
I mean,
But
who brought up? Who do we know where it came from that his mom was a Bundy sympathizer?
she actually,
She had wrote something in the
yeah,
paper. I
I
don't know
think I've
exactly
got
what it
it.
was. I
Hold
saw
on.
it, I read it, but I can't remember.
I think I have it. I think Sifa sent it to me the other night.
Was it
Can-
because she was one of those nut jobs that wanted to marry him and thought that, oh, he's too good looking, he couldn't have done this? Or was it because she's against the death penalty?
That might have
uh,
been just something to do with school, because I believe she's a school teacher.
Yeah, I
yeah.
heard that.
Hold on, I've got it right here.
Yeah, there's so much information with this case. I forget half the stuff. I mean, I remember it, but I'm not sure myself.
Yes. I think this case has more that you have to remember than what Kylie's case did.
So
Like,
she was the mom. They're saying the mom was against the death penalty, and that's what she wrote about her being against the death penalty, and just used him as an example.
okay, let's see here because I've got it. I remember. Oh, Krista, I'm sorry, honey. Krista, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't know you were sitting backstage.
Oh no, it's fine.
Okay, let me.
So do we think maybe she's against abortion and the death penalty because of religion, or is it just that's just what she thinks?
I don't know. I've got the thing right here. I'm fixing to pull it up and read
It
what
could
she
be
had.
like part of both. She could be against religion, and then the death penalty. She just don't believe in an eye for eye. That everybody could be redeemed.
Thank you, Crime Crazy. I should have just went to the Facebook group and got it, but instead I went and hunted it down in an email. So it's gonna take me just a second. But it's basically all she posted was like just this little paragraph um, about Ted Bundy.
Was it during the time that he was going to get executed, or was this just something she wrote after the
I
fact years later?
I think it was during the time
Okay.
that he was being. Let's see. Is this it?
Well, maybe she fell for all of his interviews that he had at that time, because he was really trying to get out of the death penalty. So he was blaming his crimes and everything on pornography, actually.
Yeah.
And so there were, I think there was a church or something like that that was actually trying to
Eli
help
Faust.
him.
I'm sorry. Eli Faust said that she wrote it in 1988.
Okay, yeah, because here it is right here,
Or
but it
89.
doesn't.
I
So
can't read
it was
my eyes
during his
are bad.
trial time then, not his execution time.
Yeah, February 16th of 1989 is what it has down here at the bottom.
Yeah, I corrected myself and said 89.
Okay, well, this would have been after his execution because it says perhaps one of the saddest commentaries on mankind was evident during the execution of Theodore Bundy. While no sane, compassionate individual would excuse the atrocities committed by this man, neither would any sane individual applaud the passing of his funeral hearse. What have we become? Is the taking of a human life acceptable when the state takes responsibility for it?
Well, we take responsibility for killing people in war all the time.
I was just getting ready to say, what's the difference from I mean, it's basically government both ways around.
Mhm.
I mean, I mean, I suppose there's a difference between the death penalty and war,
Right.
Well,
but
I believe if you kill somebody, you should die. I
no
mean,
matter
the
what.
state, yeah, if the state doesn't do it, hey, a lifer, let him do it.
So, you're talking about government wise, or are you talking about in war?
No, I'm saying if you murder somebody, with intent to kill them, not in war, but
Just cold-blooded.
you know what I mean? Yeah, cold-blooded murder somebody.
Yeah.
I believe you should die for it. That's just my belief. And I say, I don't care if the state does it or another inmate does it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wasn't it, who was that? The one guy that had got the death penalty, and it was like or got 16 life sentences. He didn't get the death penalty, and one of the inmates killed him like within 3 years of him being in prison. I can't remember who it was.
You're talking about Dahmer?
Huh? Dahmer, Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, Dahmer was killed in prison.
Yeah.
But Bundy, or yeah, I mean, at that time, he had a lot of television interviews where he had had found religion. So there were religious groups that were interviewing him on camera and about how the only reason that he even did these crimes was due to like a pornography obsession. And so he was trying anything he possibly could to get out of the death penalty.
Oh, well.
And so there were sympathizers, and of course, like outside the prison, there were people holding signs and very excited that he was dying. And maybe she actually believed those interviews and saw all the people that were happy and holding signs that when he was um, put to death.
Well, I have a lot of people that I know that have spent time in prison, and I can guarantee you one thing: if you claim that you're a Christian in prison, you better act like a Christian, because if not, they're going to call you on.
Mm-hmm.
He tried anything and everything he could to try to get out of that, the death penalty, which I think he absolutely 100% deserved.
Okay.
I flip flop on it. There's some cases where I mean they're obviously mentally unstable, or there's not enough evidence, to actually do that. And then you have to think that the person that is administering, behind the giving them the death, that's on their conscience, So I kind of go back and forth on it.
Yeah, the trolls are just ridiculous tonight.
Something quick off subject about mental illness. Do you feel that our past was better than our present with mental illness? Mental illness, they kept people in institutions, and now they just let them out on the street to do whatever they want to do.
The institutions were terrible, though. They were, I mean,
did they really help the people?
Well, let them be
I mean,
on the street
honestly,
and do what they want to do. Is that helping the people? I think it makes more victims.
well, I mean, that's where their family comes into play. Like, where is these mentally ill people's families to help take care of them?
a lot of them have just, they've given up, or maybe they don't have family,
Mhm.
and so they're on the street, and
Honestly, I mean, I think there's, and this is like it's a very touchy subject too, y'all, with the mental illness and stuff like that. But I think that a lot of places have failed people with mental illness. They don't give them, they would just rather shove medicine down them and keep them calm instead of actually trying to treat the problem. They they're not helping it. They're making it worse.
And I know a lot of people will definitely disagree on this one, but the one that I really thought she shouldn't have been put to death was Eileen Warnos. Yeah,
Oh, she is
because
a very interesting person.
but she was obviously, I mean, she had been, there was so much trauma, so much abuse, and then the mental illness as well. And yeah, they were just quick to put her to death.
Philly Sports wants you to send them the link again.
And I'm sorry, Crime Crazy. Somebody else brought up the
Okay, let
mental
me.
illness, and I just wanted to throw that out there. I have mental illness that runs on both sides of my family. I have a
Killshot,
mentally
how are
ill
you?
son, and my sister's mentally ill.
Yeah, I mean, I have a son who's autistic, and that's what I was saying. It comes back to if they have family, you know, take care of them so they don't have to be put into a place like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand some of them may not have family or whatever, but I still think that if you have a family member who is mentally ill, you should at least try to help them. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's an excuse.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of us out there that have had, trauma, and you know, we're not, committing any of these crimes and never would. So, no, I'm not saying that's an excuse at all.
I don't know. I think they should. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I go back and forth. I mean, I believe in the death penalty. I just not. I don't know if I don't. I wouldn't classify this Bryan Kohberger as a serial killer. But I think they had to throw all the serial killers in one place just to study them all, honestly, instead of putting them to death after, whatever. I know that the families probably want that, but gone from society is gone from society.
All right.
Yeah, because I think Kemper is still alive. We know that BTK is still alive.
What about I don't know if this guy's still alive or not. That Ku Klux, the Iceman. He was the
Oh yeah,
mob
I
guy.
don't know. Yeah, he might be.
That's the guy? Didn't he like abuse his wife too?
No.
Well, I thought he did. I have to look it up.
Jersey said the Iceman died.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, that's what some are saying in chat, that he died.
Okay.
Was
Well,
it
I mean,
just
it was a
natural
while
causes?
ago, so
Yeah.
What's the guy from Cleveland? What's that guy's name? I can't remember his name. I don't know, but if you look down the list of like serial killers that they have a list of, a lot of them you're going to be surprised that you don't even know who they are.
Oh, wait. Did you tell me that Philly wanted a link? Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was watching a troll in chat. Hold on, Philly. I removed his comment. I don't know where he went. Y'all, these trolls are ridiculous tonight.
I always miss these comments you guys are talking about.
Oh,
Because
that's
mods
because
are on it quick.
yes, as soon as they hit the chat, they're gone.
But shouldn't you just let them? I mean, let play. Let us play with them a little bit.
No, because Crime Crazy likes to play Whack-A-Troll. Like, that
Oh,
is her literally her favorite game, so and it's
She's
just
so awesome.
right now, it's just her and Troll in the chat. I don't think I have any other mods in here. I don't know what happened to White Widow Baby tonight.
I mean, I guess it could get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are okay, but some of them are making remarks that shouldn't be in chat. If they're just saying off the wall stuff that's not hurting anybody or, racial or nothing like that, then yeah, they can stay over the other trolls. But
Yeah. What's his name there? Crane Hill.
okay, so
Yeah.
I am we Todd did you
Tool's the
gotta
one I was
go
talking.
because yeah, hold on. I don't want you in here saying that in my chat. They just come in here and they say just disgusting stuff. And I believe it's the same one because they keep making sexual remarks in here. and we block them, and then they come back in under a different name. You're welcome, Marissa. Some are repeat offender trolls. Yes, Julie, that is true. It's ridiculous.
They're serial.
Okay, Philly, can you hear us? Philly still can't hear us, y'all.
Because he's probably got something turned on.
Crime crazy. Oh my God. Crime crazy, I got rid of him. Yeah, it's gotta be on Philly's end though, because I can hear him every time he says something. He just can't hear me. And let me see if there's something. I don't know if there's anything I can do. I don't think there is. With his mic. So I don't know what's going on. Let's see. They should be a troll offenders list. Huda, that is true. I don't know why people have to come in and act like that. I mean, damn, we're all grown adults here. It's ridiculous. You got to act like a child.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was scrolling and reading the chat. Sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
I really need to like have another device so I can read chat at the same time.
I have 3 chats pulled up. I have 2 YouTube chats, one on my phone and one on the computer, and then I have my StreamYard chat as well.
Because I'm missing so many interesting things that people are saying.
Yeah, I am. Boogeyman, why are you under surveillance?
Who?
Boogeyman. Are you trolling my chat too? 'Cause he's been in here for a little while tonight, but he hasn't really said anything that needs to be knocked out or anything. But them other ones, oh my gosh, they were just horrible. Some really think they're Rico Suave.
But I don't think the current suspect though, that there's any mental illness. He's just a psychopath, to tell you the truth.
Right.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
I mean, honestly, which in Idaho he can't use, innocent
As a
with.
defense.
Yeah, he can't use an insanity plea as a defense there. But let's just say if he was over the state line in Washington and he did this and he tried to plea, and I'm not sure if Washington has the insanity plea or not, but let's just say that they did and he tried to use it. Would they really allow him to use the insanity plea when he's literally just graduated in 2018 from college? He got another degree in 2022 and then is in a PhD program. Like, would they really allow him to use an insanity plea?
My thing is, a psychologist would have to have an interview with them and see if, because a crazy person could be very smart, very intelligent.
Oh, look at Lori Vallow. She.
Oh my gosh.
You really think she's smart?
No, I don't think she's smart. I think she knows how to manipulate people. Like she is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but y'all, I saw a picture of her today. From her, it was from her latest court date. She looks horrible. Like Jill has aged her big time.
I never thought she was very good looking anyway, but
no, but she was, she was prettier. Like it's aged her, unless she's just not keeping up with the Botox and all that. It's
yeah,
it's aged her, but she's a master manipulator when it comes, especially to men.
But
she tried to make them think that she was crazy, and went to a mental hospital for what, 10 months.
Well, she was brainwashed, though. I mean, honestly, the whole portals in the closet. I mean,
Yeah, the dark lights and the numbers, and yeah, she just.
So everybody's saying that she's smart enough to manipulate people, but yet she got manipulated.
I mean, yeah, did Chad manipulate her or did she manipulate him?
Um,
Honestly, I think she manipulated him and got him tied up in with her, which then caused his wife Tammy to be murdered and him get tied up into the fact of, her kids getting murdered, which he should go to prison and rot in hell because he had something to do with it. But I think there was I think it was more manipulation from her than it was to him, but it could have went both ways as well.
Yeah, that's actually a hard one.
That case, like just everybody around her except for Chad and her niece and her friend Melanie. Everyone else is gone, died.
yeah.
Like,
Her
Mhm.
husband, her brother, her kids.
yeah. And her oldest son, he's not.
No, yeah. Well, he got the hell out.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I did.
so, then you've got it's a wonder Chad's kids didn't get tied up into it too.
That's true.
And we don't know what prescriptions he was on. We know what he was on, but not currently taking. We do know he took Topamax at one point in time.
Yeah, that was back when he was 16, wasn't it? 15,
But
16?
usually when you have those type of things, you take them for the rest of your life. You know, our we don't go to cure people. We want to give them treatments so that we have customers for life.
It's a money grab.
Oh, for sure. Yep. Which is a shame, honestly. If there's people smart enough in this world that can make a medicine to cure something, but they would rather just make it to where they can continuously take it and not cure the illness or whatever. All because they're money hungry.
El Guapo, look it up. It's got a lot of bad side effects.
Yeah, what exactly is it if he was taking it at that age?
I mean, I believe it can cause like hallucinations and a lot of other nasty stuff.
Oh,
It's Topamax, right?
Yep.
okay. So while his brain was still forming, I mean that is going or it's going to do something. It's going to be a long-term effect.
Okay, so it's a medication that works in the brain and is sometimes used in patients with bipolar disorder, also known as manic depression. It is approved for the treatment of seizures or epilepsy in adults and children in combination with other anticonvulsants and for preventing migraine headaches in adults. So maybe he did mention he had migraines, so that could have been why they were giving it to him.
Yeah. What does the side effects say? Did you look that
Uh,
up?
let's see side effects here. Okay, so on what is this website? WebMD. Wait, I don't need coupons for cheaper prices, people. Okay. Well, shit. I went to side effects. Okay, so tiredness, drowsiness, dizziness, loss of coordination, tingling in the hands, feet, loss of appetite, bad taste in mouth, diarrhea, weight loss may occur. Mental problems such as confusion, slow thinking, trouble concentrating or paying attention, nervousness, memory problems, speech or language problems also may occur. And if any of these effects last or get worse, then you need to contact your doctor or pharmacist promptly.
Hey, that's a small list. Usually the stuff I take, the list is so long, I can't read
Yeah,
it all.
Oh, that's
I would
just the
say.
minor ones. That's
Yeah.
just like your minor your okay, so your serious side effects, tell your doctor right away if you have any of these serious side effects, including any signs of kidney stones, such as severe backside, abdominal growing pain, feverish chills, painful frequent urination, bloody pink urine, rapid breathing, fast, slow, irregular heartbeat, bone pain, broken bones, loss of consciousness, unusual bleeding or bruising. And then a small number of people who take anticonvulsants for any condition such as seizures, bipolar disorder, or pain may experience depression, um, unaliving thoughts, attempts, and or other mood or mental problems. Tell your doctor right away if you or your family or your caregiver notice any unusual sudden changes in your mood, thoughts, or behavior, including signs of depression, unaliving thoughts or attempts, or thoughts about harming yourself. And he did say, well, he didn't. There was the people that he went to school with said that it was like all of a sudden he changed as far as like his mood and stuff like that. Maybe I wonder if that's during the time that he was taking the Topamax and that was a serious side effect of it.
And that could have helped with his weight loss.
Right. Okay, let's see. And then it says rarely it may cause a very serious eye problems, generally within 1 month of starting the treatment. If untreated, the eye problem can lead to permanent blindness. Let's see, get medical help right away if any of the side effects occur or sudden vision changes, such as decreased vision, blurred vision, eye pain, or redness. Let's see, and it's just talking about metabolic problems, high ammonia in the blood, and stuff like that.
So really, it didn't say anything about the psychosis or just mental harm, as in yourself, not other people.
No, that was it. Just
Yeah.
depression, unaliving thoughts or attempts or thoughts about harming yourself. Yeah. Okay, I was trying to read. I think that was all of it. I was trying to make sure that there wasn't any, like the list didn't go any further than that. And it's just like allergic reactions, itching, swelling, rash, especially in the face, tongue, throat, severe dizziness, trouble breathing, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I think that's in a lot of medicines side effects anyway. So
But that was at age 16, right?
15, 16, yeah, somewhere around in there.
But it was like 2011, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he was born in 94.
Well, he's
Is that right?
28 now,
So
so you just minus 11 from, you know what I
okay, you're
mean?
wanting it's 1:00 in the morning. I would have to do math.
17.
Oh
11
yeah, the
from
math
28
thing.
is 17.
Okay, so 16, 17, somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
Because his birthday is in November.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just any time during that year, 16 to 17 years of age. All right. And I haven't even been keeping up with chat. So yeah, that's all it really says. And it just talks about like the migraine. It said that it will not treat a migraine headache once it occurs. So basically, I guess you have to take it, and it's supposed to help prevent the migraine. Wait, what is this? Crime Crazy Lost. Don't forget you have been told to rest. I know Crime Crazy.
I was just going to say something to that. I was like, we're kind of off topic, and she's already said, hey, stay on topic, stay on topic.
Well, this is it's kind of on topic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of.
Because I mean, I've never even really looked up his the medicine. I remember reading about where he had said he was on the Topamax, but I never read about it. And I still need to read more on the visual snow stuff because it was it was crazy how last night when we were talking about it, how many people in chat have it, and I'd never even heard about it until this guy's name gets brought up. Which just the thought of, and I'm not saying that I feel sorry for him, but the people that was in our chat, and it's a constant theme for them. Like that is horrible, that they don't have a clear vision. So I want to read more about it and
Well,
get
I
over
know
it.
my sister, when when she started showing, signs of her mental illness, they had put her on so many different medications. And like I had watched, documentaries about her illness and about some of the medication she was on. And I would call my mom and say, hey, you need to get her off of this medication because some of these symptoms she's having could end up becoming permanent symptoms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, any type of medicine. That's like with my son. He's been on several different types of medicines, and before I would ever give it to him, I would always, look up the side effects and what it was used for, and even do a pill identifier to make sure that it was the right medicine and all that. Because a lot of medicine, some of them are good, and then you may get one type of medicine that is just it does no good for them at all. Let's
And
see.
Okay,
a lot of people, a lot of those people, when they are left on their own to take their own medication because of the side effects, they stop taking their medication.
Right. Or they just don't take it the way they're supposed to, and it doesn't help, because there is some medicines you can take. If you take it right, it's it can help you, but if you're not gonna take it right, then, it really doesn't do any good for them.
I took Wellbutrin for a while. Wellbutrin, they use it for cigarette smoking cessation.
hmm
And it's it's for mental disease. And it's like, okay, I want to quit smoking and you're going to give me something for mental disease. I don't see that.
Where
yeah,
did I
there's a lot of medications that off label. They're good for other um, mental
Right.
issues. Yeah,
Yeah, it may be listed for, like, one certain thing, but then there's other things that they can use it for as well,
yeah.
which is it can be scary because there was I forgot what it was. They had given my son a blood pressure medicine, um, and I was like, he doesn't have problems with his blood pressure, but then they was like, "Well, no, but, if you give him the lowest dose of it, it will help him sleep at night." And
hmm
which made sense, and he's been on it, he takes it every night at 9 o'clock. He takes his medicine like clockwork, and every night it's helped him sleep. And you don't think whenever someone gives you blood pressure medicine, you're like, "Okay, so that's like a very scary thought," but it's actually helped him, so
My daughter is autistic, my youngest daughter, and they
Mhm.
don't give her no medication for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, my son, if he didn't have something, he would never sleep. He's literally like an Energizer bunny, just goes and goes and goes and goes.
She don't sleep. I should talk to my ex and try to get her on something.
Yeah, that's what they gave my son was, it was a very, very low dose of, um, a blood pressure medicine, and like I said, it's helped him. He takes it every night at the same time. He has to take it with water because it says, he looks everything up on Google, and Google says you can't take it with Coke or anything, it's gotta be with water, and it's gotta be at the same time every night, and that's what he does, and it may take him a couple of hours to go to sleep, but once he's asleep, he's out for the night.
Yeah, the
Melatonin
caffeine
don't
might
work on me.
enhance it.
Do what?
Said the caffeine and soda or something might enhance it.
Or counteract it.
Yeah, I don't know. He looked it up and says, which that is probably true. If you're taking it to help you sleep, you don't need caffeine with it. But he is very adamant about he has to take it with water. And I seen somebody said melatonin. Yeah, it doesn't work.
It
Yeah, it don't
doesn't work
work on
for
me.
me either.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
It's
Well,
like
some people it works for. Like, I knew this
some
lady. She would give her kid melatonin, and he'd just pass right out in the hallway.
yeah, my son. Like he has to have like whenever I'll just use this as an example. He had to have oral surgery done, and they'll put you to sleep. Well, with him, they had to give him more medicine to put him to sleep than what they would a normal person. And I forgot what the oral surgeon said the reason was for that or whatever, but he had to take more. Like the melatonin, he would have had to have taken a lot more than a normal dose to help him sleep. And it just, it's hard enough to get him to take medicine. I don't need him taking a bunch of pills trying to get him to go to sleep when he can just take one little blood pressure medicine and it does the job.
I don't like taking pills, period. I mean, I ended up taking one pill, and via that one pill, soon enough, I was taking 12 pills, just with all the different side effects from the one pill,
Right.
or from each pill in succession.
Yeah. He only has to take 2 pills, and that's it. And so far, like out of all the different medicines that we've had to try him on, what we've got him on now in his dosage worked perfect. Like he's always quiet. I don't think y'all have ever heard him whenever I've been live. Y'all may can hear him walking in the house because he constantly walks, but it keeps him calm. And as long as it's working, then I'm happy. And he seems to be doing fine on it. So
That actually sounds like I'm on like so many things like keep like slow me down and slow my brain down because I'm like that. I'll just constantly like walk, or my brain just goes and goes and goes, and it doesn't like stop.
He's done that though since he was able to, like, he was a baby and started walking. He's constantly walked, just constantly. I can go to sleep at night and I hear him walking because our house is built up off the ground. So when he walks, you can hear it, his footprint or his footsteps in the house, and it's a constant thing. Like he's in there walking now, I can hear him.
Crime Crazy says back on topic, please.
I know,
Okay,
I'm
back
so
on
sorry.
All right, what does chat want us to
That was my
discuss?
fault, Crime Crazy. I'm sorry.
Well, it's on topic. It's just a wormhole.
Yeah, we'll go with that, a wormhole.
It's a never-ending wormhole, but it's still a wormhole.
Well, it started with us speculating about BK's mental state.
Hold on. Crime Crazy, I just got your email. I'm sorry, y'all go ahead.
Well, there's, no way that he can, say that he was insane anyway because of getting rid of things afterwards. He was, and changing his plate, driving to Pennsylvania. So, all of that shows that he was in his right mind to ditch everything and take off.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think he would have been able to. There's too many factors I think that would have come into play if he would have even attempted to do the insanity plea. Michelle, have a good night, honey.
Yeah, because if he's found guilty, that means he hid stuff, or he threw away stuff. He was thinking straight. It wasn't like his mind is not all there.
Mm-hmm.
One.
So I know you guys were discussing the footprint. And so my theory on that is that maybe that was the clearest one that they found. That there were possibly more than likely there were more.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe they put that single one in there because of where it was located to kind of back up Dylan's sighting.
Yeah, the way, like, where she was at versus how his path of travel through the house and then out the back door. Yeah, I think that's the only reason why they put that one footprint in there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you do what went on there and not track blood all over the house.
Oh, for sure.
So, I mean,
Well, you got to think everybody that was there said it was a horrific scene, so that means there must have been blood everywhere.
well, I mean, maybe then maybe,
Right.
I mean, there's got to be other footprints. I mean, they might have been smeared, or I don't
Mhm.
know. Who knows
Well,
how many
I keep thinking if that footprint was from one of them kids that had came in the house after they were called.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if law enforcement knows how many people actually were in that house before they got there.
I
It
would
would
Well,
be
I believe
imagine.
everybody was interviewed, so they know.
Could it have been the only footprint that was like the clearest footprint to actually tell what type of shoe?
not if
See,
they had
that's
to use the what was it?
But it
Amino
wasn't
black?
clear. That's just it. They had to use the amino black to
Well,
be
I
able
mean,
to even see it.
yeah, but I mean, like once they saw it, like they used the amino black or whatever, maybe that was the only one that they can get in actual what the tread of the sole of the shoe
I
was. Maybe
mean,
the other ones were smeared, or
yeah,
maybe they slipped in blood in it. You see what I'm saying? Or just
yeah,
anything. Maybe that was one that they were able to get what the bottom of the shoe actually looked like in order to know what kind they were.
yep. That was my exact theory. Was that that was the clearest one.
yeah. What I'm wondering is if it is true what this Kim lady says about people being over there so early. How many people were there that weren't there actually when law enforcement showed up? How many people had already been there and gone?
Left. But okay,
I,
so have y'all heard about allegedly that one of the cars that was in the driveway that was towed off actually left the house that morning and then came back? Have
Uh-uh.
y'all heard that?
I haven't heard.
No.
no.
I heard that somewhere else. I forgot. Troll was telling me about it, and I forgot where he heard it at. But allegedly, before this whole 10 o'clock time frame, that somebody, I don't know, Dylan, Bethany, one of those two, left the house and then they came back
Well, my
around
thing is
9 o'clock or
how
so.
Whose car
how
would they have
did
been? I
I,
mean,
I don't know. I don't know if
because
how
they
did
would have had the
Ethan's
key to one of the girls' cars.
how did Ethan's sister's car end up there? Because you know that the fifth car was Ethan's sister's car.
Yeah, the black SUV was Maisie's car, and then the red Jeep was Ethan and Hunter's car. They shared it. And I want to say that Ethan drove the red Jeep there that night, and it was already there that night. And then Maisie drove her car over there, but the reason why they were all towed away is because they were all parked in the driveway, and once that become a crime scene, the cars were included in the crime scene. So that's why they were towed away as well.
But that means that she had to show up there before the police got there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that once Hunter got there before the 911 call, I'm sure he called her over there as well. I mean, that
well,
would make
why
sense.
would why would he call her over there and not call his parents?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he called his parents, but
And even why would he call her over there before 911 was called?
I don't know.
Panic. I mean, they're young and panicking.
I mean, because we don't really know what time his phone calls were made. He could have been calling during the time that the 911 call was made, or he could have called after. I don't know how far Maisie lived from the girl's house, or
Oh,
But
someone else
that's
could have
what I'm
called her and
saying
told
is
her.
he couldn't have called after 911. Well, I would say after 911 because then the police show up. Nobody else is going to be driving up in that driveway afterwards.
No, but how long did it take police to get there from the time the 911 call was made?
Yeah, it's another question. That's all. It's more to the mystery.
I mean, because they're claiming that this was out at 10 o'clock. I mean, somebody else could have called Maisie, Ethan and Hunter's sister. I mean, somebody else could have called her and told her something bad happened. It's been said that Hunter was supposed to meet a group of people at Sigma Chi to do some type of project, and he wasn't there at the time they were supposed to meet, and someone called him and asked him, like, "Hey, are you coming? Like, we're supposed to meet." I believe it was, like, at 12 o'clock, and he said, "No, I think Ethan is dead." That's what has been said that transpired on the phone call between Hunter and this person at Sigma Chi. Um, and that story could have gotten out. That person could have called Maisie because I heard that it was a girl that had met them. Like, supposed to be a group of girls and a group of guys that was supposed to be doing a project together, and they were all supposed to meet up at Sigma Chi to do it.
So where did Hunter live? I thought he was at Sigma Chi.
Yeah, he was that's him and Ethan both were part of Sigma Chi, but allegedly someone had called him that morning and said
Oh,
that
that
Ethan
just to
had
me doesn't
passed
make
out.
sense. If he's at Sigma Chi and they're supposed to meet at Sigma Chi, why would they be calling him if he's there?
Because whenever they called him, he was over at the house where Ethan and the girls were at. Because they were supposed to meet up at Sigma Chi at a certain time, and when everybody else was at Sigma Chi, he wasn't there. So they called and asked him if he was coming, and then he said no because he thinks Ethan is deceased.
So I wonder, whoever called him, did he or why wouldn't he have taken Jack D with him, knowing where this all is supposed to happen?
Jack D lives in another place though, so I think he did call Jack D afterwards.
I thought that he was in the same frat house.
No,
Jack
Jack
D lived in
D.
the house, like he lived in the off-campus house. He didn't live in the
Yeah,
frat house.
he lived okay, so where the girl's house was at, you can literally if you could stand at the sliding glass door and just look slightly to the right, and you're looking straight at Jack D's house. It's literally the body cam footage where the cops, when they went up and they walked up to the back door and they talked to, Kaylee that day, but they went to the guy's house first. That house that they went to first is the house that Jack D lived in.
And El Guapo said Jack D is beta, not Sigma.
Yeah, I don't think he was Sigma Chi. But
And
yeah,
when they were called, I'm sure it was very confusing. Their phone call that they even had received.
yeah.
That it was an emergency of some kind, and confusing when they got there. Um, and then my opinion on Kim, who's been speaking and saying a lot of things. I honestly, I really don't believe like anything that she's saying at all.
Well,
Honestly, just
a
my
lot,
opinion though.
a lot of it sounds like, I don't really believe it, but that whole 10 o'clock timeline about her daughter knowing everything by 10 o'clock, that just seems to me that you couldn't lie about it because it can be proven.
Exactly. But my thing is though, if that did happen, why wasn't police called, LE called until 11:56?
I thought it was 11:58, but
I'm
I
That's
thought,
when
telling
they
y'all,
put it out to the police. The call came in at 11:56.
okay, I thought the
that thing on their activity call log, it said 11:58 to
so
begin with.
I think what you're thinking about, the 56, was
But
Olivia changing the time that the
but
girls got
now it
home from.
says
It
but now
says
it says
11:56,
11:56.
and then police was dispatched at 11:58.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember Olivia changing the time that the girls actually got home to like 1:56 or something like that, not
Yeah,
1:45.
she got that through, I guess, because they were all on the same plan. She was on her parents' plan, and she was able to get that information from her parents' plan.
Okay, so let me catch back up here real quick. So Huda is saying in chat that Kaylee's friend said that she was calling Kaylee at 10 a.m. So Yeah, I mean, some of what Kim is saying could be true. I don't want to come out and just say she's like lying about everything because I don't know for a fact if she is or not. I think
Right.
that there may be some things that she is being honest about. I just don't know if it's everything. Hey, Tonka, how are you?
Yeah,
I
Tonka's
don't.
saying that she reminds him of the Sammy sympathizer Megan.
Yeah, I've heard. I actually did.
Hmm.
I said that the other night. I was like, I'm not even gonna say that woman's name because I don't like her. But
Yeah,
yeah, a lot of people have said that she sounds like her. I don't think it's like that. It's her. Some people were saying, "Oh my God, that's who it is." I don't think it's her. I just think that she's one of those people who is trying to get the information out there, and she's in such a hurry to do it that it's like her anxiety is taken over and she's out of breath while she's trying to talk,
well,
you
she's
know?
making all these public statements to all these different channels, and she always starts it off with swearing up and down that she called the FBI that Sunday
Mhm.
and told them all this. Okay, so I mean, if that's true, obviously that can be proven. But if it's not true, I mean, the FBI could easily discredit her.
We won't find out any of this information until the trial.
Well,
I
here's the thing:
If
we're
it's
not going to
true.
find out any more information until.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
because of the whole like, we're not even gonna hear from the Gonzalez's attorney anymore,
No,
you know?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Jesus.
And the LE's only going to use information that's probative, that's substantial. They're not going to. They could have a lot of information that they're just not even going to use.
Right. I don't know. I would think though, if what Kim is saying is the truth and she has contacted FBI and they have verified that what she's saying is the truth, that they would possibly use her as a witness. I mean,
Well, I mean,
or her daughter at least.
Well, I mean, but who was the witness going to be for the prosecution or the defense? I
Yeah,
mean,
but
because
I
if
don't
still,
the
know.
defense calls her, that's probable cause for covering something up.
the thing is, you can't say something that somebody else said. That's hearsay. And that's
But
what
Mm,
they'll say is it's
well, yeah,
hearsay.
that is
You
true.
but
have
if
to
it's
have
in
the
a
actual person that saw it or called it or did it to
yeah, but
Well, I
if it's
mean,
in a
but who told
text,
her daughter though? Because allegedly somebody, like her daughter, is saying she knew about it at 10 o'clock that morning. So who told her daughter?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have to have the actual person that called it, that did it, that saw it. You can't. You would have to use Bethany as and Dylan as the person that saw three people there instead of one person there on the outside.
I
And
mean,
there could be three people on the outside on the back that's not going to trip that camera on the side of the house.
yeah. I mean, basically, it just all comes back down to Bethany and Dylan, because we
but
know for a fact they were the two that was at the house that morning.
And
from
that's what I'm
Dylan's
saying,
bedroom window,
crazy. That it's all hearsay. You have to have the person that saw it, that did it, or was there.
Remember the driver said the drugs. Okay, I'm just catching up with who it is.
oh, the drug theory. So I also don't agree with that. That's and just
yeah,
another one of my opinions. It's
somebody
not a drug house. That's all.
somebody asked
That's
in the
all
chat.
hearsay too.
Yeah.
And even if it was, and they got rid of it, they wouldn't be able to bring that up unless they have people that actually say, "Hey, I bought drugs there. I bought drugs from so and so."
Oh yeah, they ain't gonna have that
Then that
though.
would be proof.
I mean, how many college kids is gonna come up and be like, "Yeah, I bought drugs from them,"
Well, if you know what, if you're
unless they're
I,
cutting a plea deal.
I've done illicit drugs, and if I had to testify because one of my friends or somebody I knew got murdered by somebody else, I would testify. I guarantee you, they're not gonna try to bring me up on charges for using drugs if I'm testifying
Mm-mm.
about somebody else.
Let's see the party.
No, and it's honestly, if it was like a big deal, drug house, that's honestly the worst drug house ever, considering people could go in and out all the time, and they had huge parties, and they would leave the house, with all these people inside. I mean, it really just doesn't make sense.
Well, you got to think, okay, you're having a party of 150 people the night before. Are you going to assume that nobody was using drugs at that time in those 150 people? I
Oh,
believe a certain percentage are using drugs.
oh,
Oh yeah.
absolutely. What I'm talking about, if it's like a main, like they're dealers, like people go there to buy quantities, like a large amount of
It
drugs.
could just be pills. It could be, prescription pills. It could be ecstasy. I mean, we don't know if there was drug. If there was drugs there, we don't know what type of drugs.
Yeah, that came from the person who was like the what were they, the private party driver or whatever that dropped them off. And Crime Crazy said this is not a trap house. Yeah, I don't think it was a trap house. I don't think it was
No.
anything that's
Well, there's a difference between a trap house and somebody that's supplementing their income by selling, pills that they bought up their grandma or the auntie or what, or you understand what I'm saying?
right. But did Dylan has anybody heard of any place that her or Bethany worked?
Not
Like
me.
they talked about Xana and Maddie working at Mac Creek, and they claimed that Kaylee she always had a job. But has it ever been said that Dylan or Bethany worked anywhere?
I haven't
Not,
heard it.
not that I can
Okay,
But
because
recall.
then again, once everything happened, people you didn't really hear nothing from Dylan or Bethany at all. You understand? The only time you heard about Dylan is everybody speculating. And then when the PCA came out, we heard that Dylan saw something.
right. Oh yeah, I mean, I said from the jump that she looked sus. That was just a vibe that I was getting, which I could be completely wrong, but it's just a vibe that I was getting. And a lot of people said that, that it wasn't really nothing about Bethany. It was always about Dylan for some reason. See, where did Bryan get? Pickle Me Elmo. Bryan actually was a TA at WSU.
And I
Don't know
don't
how
think they'd
much
be
they.
selling weed because they could just drive 9 miles away into Pullman, into Washington, and just buy it legally.
Yeah, and I don't know really how much a TA makes. Probably not a whole lot, but I mean, on campus, if he lived in the housing on campus, they don't like you have to pay yearly for that, but it's not like a monthly thing, right?
I don't know. It could have been perk.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. If he had some sort of scholarship, the housing could be included.
Okay. Yes, Joanne, they also did say that he was sloppy.
Yeah, I also, just my opinion is that, um, the suspect, he was not on any kind of drugs. I really don't. I think that, like, I think I've said it before, but this crime and the high that he got from it, that was his drug.
Right.
The planning and
Oh,
the
yeah.
breaking in and yeah,
Yep.
the thrill of it.
It was, I'm trying to think of the right word to describe other than, yeah, I would just have to say it, but he got a high off of it. And he's still loving the cameras and the attention, like he's still getting a high from all that. He may not like that he's in jail, but he's still loving the attention.
And I saw steroids brought up. That could have been the drug. Steroids is a drug.
Mhm. Explicit
If
Taylor's
if I
knowledge and undercover.
I just believe there's something else going on that we don't know about. I do believe that. What it is, I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that they're keeping close to them that they haven't let out, which, I mean, kind of got to give it to Moscow Police Department. Like, they had us going on a wild goose chase looking for this car while the whole time they knew where the car was at, and they never once let it out. Uh, yeah, crime crazy. I'm about to here in just a second. I'm gonna end it in just a few minutes. Um, but I'm sure there's a lot of things that they're keeping to themselves that they're not letting out. Like, they want to make sure that when this goes to court, there's no getting out of it.
100. I
Right.
believe that 100. I believe they got a ton of evidence.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and like I said, you have to give it to the police department though, because me included, I'm completely guilty of it. I blamed them and doubted them and said they didn't know what I honestly, I don't know what all I said, but I said some pretty bad things about them. But in the end, they got the guy. If it is in fact the right guy, props to them. They kept it to their vest. They didn't let it out. They probably, and I even said it, they got us chasing this car and they're probably sitting back laughing at us. You know, all of the sleuths on Google Maps like we were doing.
Yeah.
You know,
But I saw someone saying if somebody was on drugs, that they couldn't stay on task. Fern, my ex's daughter used to do heroin and meth at the same time, and
oh wow.
she became a lawyer in California, and she graduated early, and she was using drugs the whole time.
Oh wow. What type of lawyer is she?
Uh,
Not what you want to
she
hire.
she got disbarred. She ended up going into a court with drugs on her and got twice, not once but twice, and got caught.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Right. I can't laugh, right? Sorry.
I'm straight up though. She got disbarred. She was a defense attorney herself.
I thought he was I thought he was just gonna come out and tell us what kind of attorney she was.
She got disbarred.
He just straight up said she got disbarred. I'm sorry, y'all.
I mean, on the side, I can give you the name and you can look it up and you can see exactly how she got
No, like
disbarred.
I was just I honestly thought whenever I asked you that she was gonna be like a defense attorney or
Yeah,
or
she was a defense attorney and she was defending drug users and drug dealers.
That's
but
how
he
they were
just
paying her.
but no, y'all, he just comes out, he's just like she got disbarred. He didn't even explain what kind of attorney she was. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't laugh because my chest hurts.
But I'm just
Well,
saying, you can use drugs and still function.
Yes.
A lot of people are high function people and they're still drug addicts.
It's true.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's not funny though that she was on drugs. That's really not funny.
Well, it almost sounded like a success story. I'm sorry, but you're like, yeah, she was doing, all these hard drugs and an addict, and she made it through college and university, and she
I
became a
know.
lawyer, and it was like this great thing. And then
I
no, but she was
that's
disbarred.
why I asked. That's why I asked what kind of attorney she became because I thought maybe she gotten clean and was doing good
No,
Yeah.
for herself.
not at all. Not at all. No, sad thing. So she would have
It
her
really is
boyfriend
sad.
over. No, she would have her boyfriend over, and he would bring his two kids. Like one was, let's say, 8 and one was 6. I don't know their exact ages, and
Mhm.
they would leave drugs in their bathroom. She would leave drugs in her bathroom out in the open where the kids could get it to, and they would be tweaking in the garage. And I knew they were using drugs. I would go check that bathroom and find the heroin, find the meth just sitting out in the open, and I would snatch it. And I would wait till my
Does
ex
his
would
mic sound
come home.
different to y'all?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'd wait
Okay.
till my ex would come home and I'd show her and I'd say, hey, you know what? If these kids get a hold of it and die, you're gonna lose everything.
Okay, it's like your mic has I don't know if it went out or did you move away from your mic?
Can you
I can
hear
hear
me?
you, but I can barely hear you.
I don't know what's going on.
Now
I
you
haven't
sound
done anything different.
now you sound normal.
Okay.
It was almost like you were away from it.
What I was saying is that they would leave drugs around out in the open with two little kids
Mhm.
unaccompanied while they were high, and I would have to take the drugs and hold them. Well, I ended up throwing them away, or at that time giving them to friends of mine, so
Mhm.
they didn't have to pay for the drugs. But and tell my ex, you're liable. You're going to lose your house. You're going to lose everything if one of these kids get all this stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's sad. I mean, eh, yeah, she graduated, she could have she went all through law school and she could have had an awesome life, going through, becoming a lawyer and all that. But I guess the drugs, for whatever reason, she got disbarred, but I mean,
But what I
I'm
was
trying to
getting
think of like
at
the
is,
right thing to say without sounding, because I don't want to like sound disrespectful,
well,
you
I
know.
was disrespectful to her mom, about her all the time. That's why we're not together anymore, is
Yeah.
because I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it because she would always give excuses for her daughter.
Mhm. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, it's a shame though, because I don't know how if you get disbarred, if you can go back and get your license or whatever. But it's
You
a
could probably
shame.
go to another state and get it, but you can't get your
Mhm.
license back in that state.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame though. You do all of the hard work and go through college to get a career like that. And whether she was on drugs or not, she still put the work in. And obviously she did the grades were good enough for her to graduate and pass the bar exam and all that and become an attorney. It's just it's a shame that it had to
It's
turn
sad all
around.
around. And what's sad for my ex is that she spent all that money because she paid for her,
Yeah.
she was wealthy and she paid for her daughter,
Yeah.
all her
Basically,
education, and she
it's
threw it
it's
away.
yeah, basically it was just money wasted, which
Hmm.
I mean that's sad too, but you know, you have to commend her for being able to do the work and graduating. But then the drugs, that's the sad part,
Hmm.
you
That
know,
is. It's very sad.
that the drugs took a career away from her.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was laughing. I'm sorry about that.
Well, to me, it's sad all around. It's kind of funny though because I would argue with her all the time about stuff. She taught
Maybe
me
I'll have a good
a lot
night.
about law, but I would argue with her mainly about her trying to grift her mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
One time she took the license plates off her mom's car and then went to like a high end area and stole from a bunch of different places. And the police came knocking on the door looking for her mom because they got her license on camera.
Oh, well.
And it wasn't her car. You know what I mean? It's her daughter's car with her license plates on it.
Okay, your mic has gone again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm
It
moving.
I'm probably just gonna get off here anyway. So, but yeah, that's a whole sad situation though. I mean, it's not funny that she was disbarred and because of the drugs and all that. It was just funny the way Ray told it, y'all.
Yeah, yeah. That
It
that was
that
no
was
problem.
that was what I was laughing at because I literally I'm like Krista. I thought it was going. 'Cause, I
I
mean, it was
know.
it was it was a story that was going good. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like yeah, you can. She did it. She graduated. She become an attorney. I was just trying to keep the conversation going. I truly wanted to know what type of attorney she was, and the way
I
you
did
told
say
it.
defense attorney.
Well,
She was a,
It was just the way
yeah,
it was the way you were telling the story. The story itself wasn't funny. It was the way you were telling it
yeah,
is what was
yes.
funny.
Well,
Yeah.
and then you started laughing, which made me laugh more. So yeah, that also happened. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the story itself and what happened. That is very sad. That's very unfortunate because she could have had a very lucrative career, especially in
Hmm.
California, so some judges take performance drug. Oh wow. Okay, I'm just catching up real quick, y'all, in chat before I end it. I know, Crime Crazy. She's telling me it's time for bed. I'm going crime
Aw.
crazy. I do. I gotta take it easy though, y'all. I can't over push myself until I figure out what's going on. Thank you, El Guapo. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end it here for tonight.
Alrighty.
So thank y'all for coming up and hanging out. It's been a blast, Ray. Thank you. Like I said, I wasn't trying to laugh at her situation, but thank you for making me laugh because it was funny how you told it.
it's all good. I don't have no, no feelings towards it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate though how it turned out for her. So, Irene, you're very welcome, honey. Thank you.
And am I still scuba diving?
Off and on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm kind of keeping the phone a little far from my face. I just want to say good night, and I love you all.
Yeah,
All right. Well, we love you too, Ray, and thank you so much for coming up and hanging out with us.
It was great talking to you.
right. You guys have a good night.
All right, you too, Vapor. And Krista, have a good night. And Ray, I
Thank
hope you
you.
have a good night as well. Oh, you're very welcome, honey. Thank you so much for coming up.
I missed you so much. I was so happy that you were
Oh,
here.
thank you. Yeah, I
Okay.
came back last night, but I didn't stay as long. I just stayed, I think, like right at 3 hours, and then I got super tired all of a sudden and had to just like basically just end it right then because I got super, super tired. Irene, thank you so much for the super sticker. That was very nice of you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna drop off.
Okay, well, have a good night.
You have a good night as well. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Yeah, I'm out too. Good night, though.
All right, Ray, have a good night. Let's see. Thank you, Patsy Klein. I appreciate it. And yeah, Shane, I'm fixing to actually go to bed here in a few minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. Thank you all for coming and hanging out with me. It's been a blast. I will be back tomorrow. I love you all, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.